Not talking enough. Deep down, have you ever felt like there's a whole other conversation happening inside your head, one you never speak out loud? It's not about the daily chatter, who saw what, who did what. It's about the quiet thoughts, the deep down worries, the soft hopes that maybe even you don't fully understand yet. Not talking enough, deep down, is one of the biggest ways people drift apart. Even when they're right next to each other, it's like this. We often share the surface of our lives, the parts that everyone can see. But beneath that surface are our truest feelings, our fears about the future, the things that truly make our hearts ache or sing. For centuries, wise people, like the old storytellers and thinkers, have talked about how important it is for humans to really see and hear each other. They believed that words were like windows into someone's inner world. If those windows stay closed, how can anyone truly know you? Think of a deep well in a quiet forest. For water to be useful, it needs to be drawn up, shared, and used. If the water stays hidden and untouched, it becomes still, forgotten, and might even get muddy. Our inner thoughts and feelings are a lot like that well water. If we keep everything inside, never drawing it out, it can feel lonely and heavy. But when we bravely share those deep thoughts, even the ones that feel a little scary or hard to say, it's like offering fresh, clear water to someone you care about. It builds trust and makes the connection stronger, not just on the surface, but way down deep where it matters most. So, the quiet spaces aren't just empty. They can become places where silence grows into a wall. But speaking those true, soft, unspoken words transforms that space into a bridge. It's in those honest, quiet sharings that real love, real understanding, truly begins to grow. Thinking they just know what you feel. Have you ever felt like someone completely missed the mark on what you were feeling? Like they thought they knew, but they were way off? Here's the thing. In relationships, sometimes we fall into the trap of thinking we just know what our partner is thinking or feeling. We believe we can read their mind. Maybe because we've been together a long time, or we feel really close. But people are like entire worlds, full of hidden valleys and sunlit peaks, that only they truly see. Ancient thinkers and wise people through history have always said the same. Knowing yourself is hard enough. So, how can we truly know another person without them telling us? It's like looking at a closed book and saying you know every story inside it. You can guess, but you can't truly know until you open it up. Think about it like this. Your brain holds your unique thoughts and feelings. It's like a super complex, one-of-a-kind operating system. My brain has its own. We can't just plug our brains into each other and transfer all that data. It just doesn't work that way. When someone assumes they know your feelings, it's like they're trying to guess your computer's password instead of just asking you for it. Or, imagine you're building with Legos. You might see someone looking sad and guess they want the red brick, but maybe they really needed the blue one to finish their tower. The only way to know is to ask, what do you need? This can help you. The real magic in connecting deeply isn't about being a reader. It's about being a careful listener and a brave asker. It's about being curious enough to explore someone else's inner world with respect and kindness. When we take the time to truly listen and understand, we build something much stronger than if we just made guesses. We honor the unique person they are. And that's why it matters, because real love grows in shared understanding, not in silent assumptions. Letting silence grow too big. Ever notice how silence can sometimes feel heavy? It's not just the absence of sound, it's what might be hiding in that quiet. We often think of silence as peaceful, and it can be. But here's the thing, in any relationship, when people stop sharing their thoughts and feelings, a different kind of silence starts to grow. It's like a tiny crack that, over time, can spread until a whole window shatters. Long ago, wise thinkers understood that human connection is built on words, on sharing. Cultures across the world teach us that our words are like the threads that weave us together. If you stop adding threads, the fabric starts to fray. This isn't about constant chatter, but a gentle hum of communication that keeps hearts close. Here's what I found. Letting silence grow too big is like neglecting a small campfire. If you don't add wood, if you don't tend to it, it goes out. The warmth disappears. In relationships, unsaid words, unasked questions, and unspoken feelings don't just vanish. Instead, they pile up. Imagine a small problem with a friend. Maybe they borrowed your favorite pen. If you don't say anything, that small thought might turn into a bigger annoyance. Then, another small thing happens, and you don't speak up. Soon, These unaddressed issues become a giant, unspoken wall. So, here's the problem. That wall isn't made of bricks, but of things not said. It's the quiet space where feelings got tucked away, where misunderstandings took root. The gentle whisper of a shared heart becomes a distant echo. We learn that sometimes the bravest thing is to break that silence, even with just a few simple words. It's about keeping the path between two hearts clear, always. Yelling when quiet words would work. Have you ever stopped to wonder why, when we feel most hurt or frustrated, our voices tend to get louder? It's almost like an automatic switch, a quick burst of sound meant to cut through the air. But here's the thing: often, those loud words don't actually help us connect. Instead, they can build a wall between us and the person we're trying to reach. Think about it like this. For centuries, wise people from different parts of the world have taught that real understanding comes from listening, and from speaking in a way that invites listening. In ancient philosophies, the idea of inner peace often meant controlling not just your actions, but your voice. They believed that a calm mind speaks calmly. When we yell, it's like our emotions are taking over the controls, steering us away from clear thought. Imagine you have something truly important to share with a friend, maybe a secret, or a deep feeling. Would you shout it from the other side of the room? Probably not. You'd lean in close, lowering your voice, making it just for them. Why? Because a soft voice signals trust. It says, "Come closer, I want to be heard," not just make noise. It creates a space where both of you can actually listen. So, when things feel tough, and that urge to yell bubbles up, remember the quiet whisper. Remember that true strength isn't always about how much noise you can make. Sometimes, the most powerful words are the ones spoken so gently, they invite someone to draw near, to truly hear your heart, and to feel safe enough to share theirs. It's a quiet strength, like a steady light in a storm, guiding us back to connection. Not really hearing what they say. Have you ever talked to someone, really poured out your thoughts, only to feel like your words just landed somewhere else? Like they hit a wall, instead of finding a home in the other person's mind? Here's the thing. Hearing is not the same as listening. Our ears pick up sounds, like a microphone does. But true listening, that's a whole different kind of magic. It's about reaching out with your understanding, not just your ears. Imagine ancient Greek thinkers sitting in their plazas, sharing ideas. They knew understanding wasn't just about words, but the quiet space between them, the feeling in a sigh, the unspoken question in someone's eyes. They understood that to truly connect, you had to quiet your own busy thoughts and let the other person's world enter yours. It's a bit like tuning a radio. Your radio can pick up static, a jumble of noise. But to hear the clear song, to catch every note, you have to tune in precisely. You have to block out the interference. Sometimes, in our rush to speak, to share our own ideas, we only half listen. We're not fully present. We might be thinking about what we'll say next, or judging, or even just what's for dinner. And that's the problem. When we don't really hear, the other person can feel invisible, unheard. Their words become like messages sent into an empty room. So, a moment of missed connection can happen. But here's the quiet truth. Giving someone the gift of your full attention, truly listening with your whole self, is one of the most powerful and gentle things you can do. It's like offering a soft, safe space for their heart to speak. And in that space, trust can grow, like a quiet, sturdy tree. It's a way of saying, without words, I see you, I hear you, and your voice matters. Comparing your love to movie scenes. Have you ever watched a romantic movie and pictured your own life that way? Maybe you dreamed of a grand moment, a perfect kiss in the rain, or a sudden life-changing meeting. Movies show us love as an amazing, sweeping adventure, full of perfect lines and beautiful scenes. But here's the thing. Real life, and real love, isn't usually like a movie script. For thousands of years, people have told stories about love. Old myths and folktales painted pictures of ideal romance, often about heroes and princesses. Today, movies are our modern versions. They're made to entertain us, to make us feel strong emotions, and give us an exciting escape. But these stories often leave out the quiet, everyday parts of love, the ones not so exciting on screen. They show us the highlights, not the daily work. Think about a perfect photo online. You know it might have taken many tries, or a filter was used. Movies are a bit like that, a filtered, chosen version of reality. In real life, love isn't always fireworks or grand gestures. It's more a quiet talk after a long day, remembering a favorite snack, or just being there when things are tough. It's not about finding someone who completes you like a movie character. So, comparing our lives to those perfect movie scenes can make us feel like we're doing it wrong. We might miss the true, deep beauty in everyday connection. Real love isn't about fitting into a pre-written script. It's about writing your own story, day by day, with all its beautiful, messy, and wonderfully human parts. It's quieter perhaps, but infinitely more real. Expecting a perfect, no-problem story. Have you ever pictured a perfect love story? Like in movies, where everything just clicks into place. No arguments, no tricky moments at all. It's a nice thought, that love could be a smooth, easy journey, always bright and effortless. But here's the truth about real love, real marriage. It's not a story without problems. For a long time, in myths and fairy tales, we've heard tales of heroes finding true love. Once found, the story often ends, implying perfect happiness, no bumps. This idea quietly shaped what we expect. We start to believe if love is true, it should always be perfectly calm, perfectly harmonious. Think about learning a new song on an instrument. Does it always go perfectly on the first try? No. Your fingers might slip, a note might sound wrong, you might get frustrated. But does that mean the song isn't worth learning, or the instrument isn't worth playing? Of course not. You learn, you fix it. The small struggles are just part of the process. Love is a lot like that. It's a craft you build together. There will be days when words tangle, or feelings bruise, moments of doubt, or times you just don't understand each other, and that's okay. These moments aren't signs something is wrong with the love itself. Instead, they are the quiet, unwritten chapters. They are where patience grows, where understanding deepens, where kindness shines. So, instead of hoping for a story with no problems, we can learn to appreciate the strength from working through them. It's in those shared challenges that the deepest, most beautiful parts of a relationship are often found. It's not about being perfect, but about being real, and finding beauty even in the struggles. Forgetting who you are outside the pair. Have you ever thought about what happens when two separate lives, full of different dreams and interests, slowly blend into one? It's a beautiful idea to feel completely connected to another person, of course, but sometimes, in the warmth of that connection, we can accidentally let parts of ourselves fade away. We might forget the quiet things we loved doing alone, the unique thoughts that were just ours, or the friends who knew us before the we began. For centuries, thinkers have talked about knowing thyself. This means understanding your own mind, your strengths, your own path. Even ancient philosophers believed your true strength comes from within, from your own identity. This idea doesn't vanish just because you find someone you care deeply for. Actually, it becomes even more important. When you are part of a pair, think of it like a plant. A strong plant needs deep roots of its own, reaching into the soil for water and nutrients. It can grow beautifully beside another plant. Their leaves might even touch. But if one plant stops sending down its own roots, relying only on the other, it will eventually weaken and lose its own shape. It won't stand tall on its own. In life, your own dreams, hobbies, and friends outside your relationship are like those roots. They feed your spirit and keep you strong as an individual. So, here's the thing. A true partnership isn't about two people becoming just one person. It's about two complete individuals choosing to walk side by side. It's about celebrating the US while also cherishing the me that makes us so special. When you nurture your own world, you bring more richness, more stories, and more light into the shared world you build together. Remember who you are, always. That is your gift to yourself, and your greatest gift to any relationship. Giving up your own dreams for them. Have you ever wondered what happens when you slowly let go of a big dream, a deep passion, just for someone else? Maybe it's a hope you've held since you were small, like being an artist or exploring the world. For love, you start to put that dream aside. This isn't about small compromises, like choosing pizza. This is about your core hopes. It's like dimming your own light so your partner can shine, or so you don't stand out. Here's the thing. When you make yourself smaller, you lose a part of who you are. That can cast a quiet shadow over the relationship. Ancient thinkers believed that to truly connect, you had to be a complete person yourself. They said a real partnership is between two whole people, not one sacrificing their essence. It's like a plant that stops reaching for the sun thinking it will help another plant grow. But then, both might wither. Imagine a musician who stops playing their instrument, even if music is their soul. Maybe their partner dislikes the noise, or they need more time. It feels like a loving choice. But over time, a quiet sadness settles in. That part of them goes silent. Their joy becomes a distant memory. The person they become often isn't the happy person their partner first fell in love with. Your dreams are like guiding stars in your personal sky. They show you who you are meant to be. For a relationship to truly shine, both people need their stars burning bright. It's about building a life where both can grow, reaching for their own skies, while walking hand, trusting little white lies to grow. Do you ever think about the little white lies we sometimes tell? The ones that feel too small to even count, like a whisper in the wind. But a whisper can become a shout, can't it? These tiny untruths, like saying you're fine when you're really sad, or that you forgot something you actually avoided, might seem harmless. They might even feel kind in the moment. But here's the thing, trust is like a garden, and every little white lie, even the smallest one, is like a tiny seed planted in that garden. Think of it this way, wise people, from long, long ago, have always known that truth is strong. It's the ground everything else grows from. Imagine a beautiful old building. It stands tall because its foundation is solid. But if there are tiny cracks in that foundation, cracks that seem unimportant, they can get bigger over time. They let in water. They weaken the structure. You don't see the damage right away, but it's happening, slowly, quietly, beneath the surface. Those little white lie seeds start small. One day, you say you're busy to avoid a chore. The next, you pretend to like a movie your friend loves, just to keep them happy. Soon, these small seeds start to sprout. They aren't big, dramatic lies, not like the ones you see in movies. Instead, they are quiet, persistent. They grow roots, taking up space where real truth and honest connection should be. It's like having a little bit of dust on a mirror every day. One speck doesn't matter. But day after day, week after week, that mirror gets cloudy. You can't see your true reflection anymore. In relationships, these small untruths do the same thing. They create a fog between people. It becomes harder to see each other clearly, to really know what's going on inside. So, the wisdom here isn't about harsh judgment. It's about understanding that even the smallest untruth has a weight. It's a choice. And those choices, over time, build the story of how much trust lives between us. A story written not just in grand, honest moments, but also in the quiet spaces where we choose to be completely, bravely ourselves, even with the smallest things. Keeping secrets that way you have. You ever wondered what happens inside us when we carry something hidden? Not small, fun surprises, but quiet secrets that sit heavy. It's like holding a stone in your hand, unseen by anyone else. Over time, that stone feels like it settles right into your chest, making it hard to breathe. When we keep big secrets from the people we love, especially in marriage, an invisible wall forms. You might be right next to someone, sharing a meal, laughing, but a part of you is locked away. For centuries, thinkers and wise people have spoken about the power of truth. They believed that truly knowing yourself and letting others know you was a path to a good life. Honesty, they felt, was the foundation for deep friendships and strong bonds. Think of it like this. Imagine trying to build a strong tower, but some bricks are hollow. From the outside it looks solid, but inside, there's a weakness. A secret can be like that hollow brick. It weakens trust, the very ground a relationship stands on. It's not just about the secret, it's the energy spent keeping it hidden. All that effort goes into holding up a barrier, instead of truly connecting. It's like wearing a heavy backpack all day. Even when sitting, no one sees the weight, but you feel it in every step. And so, these secrets don't just stay hidden, they weigh us down, they make us tired. But here's the thing, letting go of that weight, being brave enough to share the truth, even when scary, can set you free. It can lighten your heart and allow for a deeper, more real connection. It brings light into those hidden corners, making room for true closeness. Letting jealousy steal the joy. Have you ever felt a strange, uncomfortable squeeze in your chest when someone you care about spends time with someone else? It's a feeling that can make your stomach tighten, your mind race, and your heart ache a little. Here's the thing, that feeling is often jealousy. It's not just wanting what someone else has. It's more like a fear of losing something you already cherish. or a worry that you might not be good enough. For a long, long time, people have thought about this powerful feeling. Hundreds of years ago, a famous writer named Shakespeare called jealousy the green-eyed monster because it seems to feed on what it sees, growing bigger and uglier. And that's why it matters. This monster doesn't just hurt others, it hurts you most of all. It's an old human feeling, one that has been written about in stories and poems for thousands of years. Because it's a difficult part of being human. Think of it like this. Imagine you have a beautiful, brightly colored drawing you've made. Now, imagine a dark, smoky filter that someone holds over it. The drawing is still there, still beautiful, but through the filter, everything looks dim and a little bit sad. That's what jealousy does to joy. It takes all the good, bright feelings in your relationships, the trust, the happiness, the peace, and it darkens them. It makes you look for problems where there are none, and it whispers doubts in your ear. But here's the problem. That smoky filter isn't real. It's created in your own mind. When you let jealousy take over, it pushes out all the happiness. It steals the chance to simply enjoy being with someone, to trust them fully, and to feel secure in yourself. Instead of building strength and confidence, jealousy leaves you feeling small and alone. It's a tough feeling, but realizing it's just a shadow is the first step to letting in the light. Breaking promises, even small ones. Have you ever had a friend say they'd do something, even a tiny thing, and then they didn't? Maybe they promised to text you back, or meet you at a certain time, and it just didn't happen. It's a small thing, right? No big deal. But here's the thing. Those little moments, those small broken promises, can start to chip away at trust. It's not just about the huge vows, like marriage promises. It's also about the everyday agreements we make with each other. Think about it. Our whole world runs on promises. When someone says they'll be somewhere, or do something, we expect them to follow through. For thousands of years, people have known this. In many cultures, a person's word was their honor, their very reputation. It wasn't just a casual thing. It was a bond. When you gave your word, it meant something deep. So, how does this work in real life, in love and marriage? Imagine a beautiful, strong window. Each time you keep a promise, even a tiny one, it's like a careful polish that makes the glass clearer and stronger. But when you break a promise, even a small one, like I'll do the dishes tonight, or I'll call you as soon as I get home, it's like a tiny, almost invisible scratch on that window. One scratch might not seem like much, but over time, if those small scratches keep happening, the window becomes cloudy, less clear, and eventually, it might even feel fragile. You can barely see through it anymore. That's how trust works. It's built in small, quiet moments of reliability. It's not just about the big, grand promises, but about the gentle, steady echo of yes, I meant it in every small action. When we respect those small commitments, we're not just keeping a promise, we're building a deeper, stronger connection, one honest moment at a time. And that's why it matters so much. Running away from a hard talk. Have you ever felt that nervous flutter when a tough conversation is coming? It's choosing silence instead of speaking up, hoping a problem will just fade away. Running isn't about moving your feet, it's building a wall in your mind, thinking silence makes things disappear. But here's the thing, silence often makes problems grow bigger, not smaller. People have always struggled with hard truths. We want comfort to skip pain, but sometimes, real peace only comes after facing what hurts. This wish to avoid difficult parts is very human. Imagine a tiny crack in a glass window. At first you might ignore it. It's small, almost invisible. But if you don't fix it, that crack can spread. It weakens the whole window. Eventually, it shatters. A hard talk is like that crack. It might feel uncomfortable to deal with, but leaving it, pretending it's not an issue, allows the problem to grow. It becomes much larger and harder to fix. Speaking up, even when it's hard, is like mending that small crack before it breaks everything. These unspoken words, these avoided moments, they don't just vanish, they linger, they quietly create distance. They can turn understanding into confused guessing. It takes courage to speak openly, to be a little uncomfortable for a short time, but that courage builds strong connections. It turns silent hurt into shared understanding. It helps love breathe. So, when that urge to run comes, pause. Remember, sometimes the bravest thing is just to talk. Even if the words feel heavy, they are worth lifting. Fighting to win, not to understand. Have you ever argued with someone, maybe a friend or family member, and felt like you just had to win, like proving your point was the only thing that mattered. This feeling, this deep need to be right, can be one of the biggest mistakes we make in our relationships. Think about it. When we step into a disagreement ready for battle, we aren't truly listening. We're waiting for our turn to speak, to counter. It's like playing a game where only scoring matters, not playing together. This idea, seeking understanding over victory, isn't new. Ancient thinkers, like philosophers in old Greece, talked about asking deep questions to learn from others, not just to win arguments. They believed true wisdom came from understanding. Imagine you and a friend are trying to solve a puzzle. You both have different ideas about where a piece goes. If you just yell your idea, or try to force the piece, the puzzle might break. You might even give up. But if you pause, look closely, and try to understand your friend's idea for a moment, you might find the right connection. This helps you both finish, and maybe discover a better way. When we focus on winning, we often miss the chance to truly connect. We miss what the other person is feeling or needing. It's like looking at a beautiful painting and only seeing the frame, not the art. But here's what happens when we change. When we put down our shield and pick up quiet curiosity, we open a door. We see the person not as an opponent, but as someone sharing their heart. Understanding, not winning, builds true bridges. It helps two people grow together, making a strong, lasting bond. Holding on to old hurt like a stone. Have you ever carried something heavy for a long time, even when you didn't need to? A heavy backpack, or a grocery bag, getting heavier with every step. That growing weight is a lot like holding on to old hurt. Here's how it works. Someone says something unkind, or a promise breaks. Instead of letting that feeling pass, we sometimes grab onto it. It's like picking up a smooth, heavy stone. We might not know it, but we clench it tight in our hand, in our mind. We carry it around, day after day, sometimes for years. Even a small hurt, when held, starts to affect us. Our heart feels tight. Think about ancient travelers. They knew every extra item made journeys harder. Wise people for thousands of years talked about minds getting heavy with past thoughts. They knew bitterness, like a forgotten, heavy item, adds weight to our spirit. It keeps us looking backward, stuck, instead of moving freely forward. Here's what I found. Imagine your mind is a clear glass of water. When someone upsets you, it's like dropping a tiny pebble. The water gets cloudy. If you keep shaking that pebble, the water never clears, stays murky. Or, think about a cut on your hand. If you keep picking at it, it won't heal. Holding on to old hurt prevents the wound from closing. So here's the thing. Holding on to that stone doesn't hurt the person who caused the pain. It only hurts your own hand, your spirit. To truly move forward, to connect with others, we sometimes have to open our hand, acknowledge the stone, feel its weight, then gently let it go. It doesn't mean the hurt never happened. It just means you choose not to let that stone weigh down your future. It means choosing to walk lighter, with an open heart. Not making time for just the two of you. Have you ever considered how two people, once so close, can slowly start to feel like strangers? It's a quiet change, like the tide going out, not with a rush, but slowly, bit by bit. One of the biggest reasons this happens is simple. Not making time for just each other. It sounds easy, doesn't it? Just make time. But life gets busy. There's school, friends, sports, family stuff. And before you know it, days turn into weeks, then months. And those shared moments, the quiet talks, the laughter simply fade. It's not always about big fancy dates. It's about the small, everyday moments. A few minutes over breakfast, a walk after dinner, a short call to say thinking of you. This isn't a new idea. People have known for a long time that relationships need to be fed, like a fire needs wood. If you don't add wood, the fire goes out. This need for shared space and focused attention is how bonds are truly made and kept. Strong. Think of it like a piece of music. Each instrument has its part, but if they don't play together, if they don't listen, the melody gets lost. Or think about a plant. It needs water, sunlight, and attention. If you forget to water it, or leave it in the dark, it will wither. Relationships are like that plant. They need regular, gentle care. They need to be watered with shared time, and bathed in the sunlight of your presence. So, here's the thing. Time is more than just hours on a clock. It's the precious space where connection breathes, where understanding grows, and where love finds its quiet, steady rhythm. Making time is a promise, a soft whisper that says, "You matter, we matter." It's a silent way of tending to the most important garden you will ever grow. Taking them for granted, day by day. Have you ever thought about how some things just become part of the background, like the hum of your refrigerator, or the way the sun rises every morning? At first, maybe you noticed it, but then it just is. That's a little like what happens when we take people for granted, especially in close relationships. It's when the amazing, important people in our lives start to feel like a steady, expected hum. Here's the thing, human minds are wired to notice what's new, what's changing. We're less likely to focus on what's constant, what's always there. Thinkers from long ago, like the Greek philosopher Epicurus, understood that much of our happiness comes from appreciating simple, everyday things. But it's easy to forget that wisdom. We can get so used to someone's kindness, their patience, their steady presence, that we stop seeing it as a gift. It becomes like the air you breathe, vital, everywhere, but rarely something you stop to truly notice or thank. Imagine your favorite song. The first few times you hear it, every note might feel special, every lyric perfect. You listen closely, but if you play it on repeat, all day, every day, eventually it might just fade into background noise. You stop really hearing it. The song hasn't changed, but your way of listening has. It's the same with people. A parent who always drives you to practice, a friend who always listens. Their steady presence is a comfort, a beautiful constant. But if we're not careful, that comfort can turn into an expectation, and soon, we might not even see their effort or love anymore. So, the mistake isn't that they're always there. The mistake is letting our eyes become blind to their light, simply because it never flickers. It's about letting the quiet, consistent glow of their love become invisible. Maybe, just maybe, the greatest treasure isn't something grand and new, but the steady, beautiful presence that has been there all along, waiting to be truly seen again. Putting everyone else first. Always. Have you ever wondered if it's possible to love so much that you forget to love yourself? It sounds kind, doesn't it? Always making sure your family is happy, friends are cared for, your partner has everything they need. For some, this becomes a way of life in love and marriage, always putting everyone else's needs ahead of their own. It's like a spring pouring out water, but never refilling its source. For centuries, many cultures have praised selflessness. Think of ancient stories where heroes sacrificed everything, or where parents gave up their dreams. There's a beauty in that, a deep, giving spirit. But here's the thing, those stories often focus on grand moments, not the quiet, everyday drain that happens when giving never stops. In a relationship, if one person always says yes to others and no to their own needs, something important begins to fade. Imagine a beautiful spiderweb. It's built to connect, but it needs a strong anchor, a solid foundation. If the spider strengthens other parts of the web, but neglects its own central thread, the whole structure becomes weak. It might just collapse. Like that web, a person needs their own strong center. If you constantly give away your time, your energy, your thoughts, without stopping to rest or recharge, you become thin, brittle. You might even resent the people you support. So, this isn't about being selfish, it's about balance. It's about remembering your own well-being is a necessary part of truly caring for others, especially in a lasting partnership. Like a quiet pond reflecting the sky, you need to be still sometimes to hold your own depth. This way, you can truly mirror the love and life around you, because a half-empty vessel cannot give fully, not for long. And that's why it matters. Not cheering them on when they need it. Have you ever felt like you were standing on the edge of something important? Maybe it was trying out for a team, giving a big presentation, or just sharing something you worked hard on, like a drawing or a story. What if, in that moment, the person who's supposed to be on your side, your partner or a close friend, just ... stayed quiet? Or worse, they seemed bored, or made a small joke about it. This isn't just about clapping your hands. It's about showing you truly believe in someone. It's about giving them the push they need, especially when they might not even believe in themselves. Think about it. Humans have always needed encouragement. Ancient thinkers understood that a person's spirit thrives on support, much like a tiny seed needs water and sun to grow into a strong plant. Without that care, it might never reach its full height. Here's the thing. Imagine a young musician, full of nerves, stepping onto a stage for the very first time. Their hands might shake a little, their voice might waver. If the one person they love the most is just sitting in the audience, arms crossed, looking away, how do you think that would feel? That silence, that lack of interest, can feel heavier than any criticism. It can make them want to stop right there. But if that person, the partner, is smiling, maybe even giving a quiet thumbs up from the crowd, it's like a warm, strong current flowing through them. That small gesture can be the difference. It can give them the courage to finish the song, even if their voice cracks. When you don't cheer someone on, it's not just silence. It feels like walking alone through a thick fog. It makes the path ahead seem much harder. So, remember this. The quiet power of your belief can be a guiding light. It helps someone stand taller, even when the world feels shaky. It reminds them they are not alone. That kind of unwavering connection is one of the greatest gifts we can offer. Being their critic instead of their cheerleader. Have you ever thought about how the words we choose, especially with the people we care about most, can really shape everything? It's easy to spot what's wrong, to point out mistakes. We might even think we're helping, that we're making someone better. But sometimes, in trying to fix someone, we accidentally become their constant critic. We forget to be their biggest fan instead. Long ago, thinkers in different cultures understood the power of encouragement. They talked about how humans grow, not from being constantly told their faults, but from being shown their strengths. Think about a wise elder who gently guides, rather than shouts. It's about seeing the potential in someone, not just their present flaws. This idea isn't new. It's a deep part of what helps us truly connect. Imagine a tiny seed trying to grow into a strong tree. If you constantly tell it it's too small, or its roots aren't deep enough, or its leaves aren't green enough, does it help? No. It needs sunlight, water, and rich soil. In our relationships, encouragement is like that sunlight. When we cheer for someone, truly believe in them, even when they stumble, we give them the energy to stand taller. It's like being on a sports team. If your teammate misses a shot, do you yell at them, or do you say, "You'll get it next time," and clap for them when they try again? That kind of belief builds up, while constant negativity just wears away trust and confidence. Here's the thing. Love isn't about perfect people. It's about imperfect people choosing to lift each other up. When we choose to see the good, to speak words that build rather than break, we create a safe place. A space where mistakes are lessons, not failures. And in that space, real growth, real trust, and deep, lasting connections can finally bloom. It's a quieter, kinder path, but it builds something far stronger than any criticism ever could. Getting lazy about the little things. Have you ever considered how little things, almost without you noticing, can grow into something huge? This is a quiet truth about life, especially for love. It's easy to think big problems come from big arguments, but often, the deepest cracks form when we get lazy about the small stuff. We might stop saying thank you for a tiny kindness, or forget to notice a new haircut, or leave little chores undone, thinking it's no big deal. These aren't loud fights. They are just small omissions. Think about how people have understood this idea for a long, long time. Wise thinkers from ancient times knew great things are built from small, consistent efforts. They'd tell stories about how a stone statue wasn't carved with one giant blow, but with countless tiny chisels, each making a small mark. Or consider a tiny crack in a sidewalk. At first, you barely see it, but over time, with rain and frost, that small crack becomes a wide gap, tripping people or letting weeds push through. These small, ignored openings weaken the whole path. It's the same with relationships. Imagine caring for a beautiful garden. It's not enough to just plant a rose bush once and walk away. A garden needs daily care, pulling a tiny weed, giving a little water, noticing a new bud or a wilting leaf. If you get lazy about these small, everyday tasks, the garden doesn't suddenly vanish. Instead, it slowly, quietly, loses its beauty. The weeds take over, the flowers droop, and the vibrant life fades. And that's the quiet danger of getting lazy about the little things in love. It's not about huge explosions or dramatic endings. It's about a slow, gentle fading, like a fire, that goes out because no one bothered to add small, steady pieces of wood. Real connection is built moment by moment. It breathes through tiny kindnesses, soft words, and remembering someone's heart. So, maybe the lesson here is that love isn't a towering castle built in a day, but a gentle, steady flame that needs daily, quiet tending to keep its beautiful warmth. Forgetting special dates. Again and again, have you ever thought about why some moments feel so important, while others just fade away? We mark time with special days, birthdays, holidays, even the first day of school. But in love and marriage, there are dates that feel even more personal, like secret whispers between two people. Forgetting these dates, again and again, it can feel like a quiet kind of heartbreak. Here's the thing. It's not just about a calendar date. It's about what that date stands for. It's the day two paths first crossed, or the day a promise was made. When you forget, it can feel like you've forgotten the journey you've been on together. It's like forgetting a unique song only you to share. Think about how people have always marked special times. Ancient cultures had festivals for harvests, or ceremonies for new seasons. These weren't just parties. They were ways to remember who they were, where they came from, and what mattered most. Our special dates in a relationship are a bit like that. They're anchors. They remind us of the foundation, the happy beginnings, the struggles overcome. Imagine you have a favorite tree in your backyard. Every year, it adds a new ring inside its trunk, right? Those rings tell its story. Years of rain, years of sunshine, even tough winters. Forgetting an anniversary is a little like ignoring one of those rings. It means you're missing a part of the tree's unique story, a part of the strength it gained. It shows you might not be fully seeing the growth and the history that built it, and that's why it matters. Forgetting a date isn't always done on purpose. Sometimes life gets busy, or minds wander, but when it happens again and again, it can send a message, even if you don't mean it, that the shared past, those important moments, aren't as important to one person as they are to the other. It's a quiet crack in the sense of being truly seen and remembered. Remembering is a gentle way of saying, I see our story, and I value every part of it. Not trying new things together. Have you ever seen a river that stopped flowing? It might look still, even calm, but over time, it loses its freshness. It can become stagnant. It's much the same in love and marriage. When people stop trying new things together, when a couple always does the same things, goes to the same places, and talks about the same topics, a quiet sameness can creep in. This isn't always about grand adventures. It's about a quiet halt to shared exploration. For as long as humans have lived, curiosity has been our compass. From ancient explorers charting new seas to scientists gazing at distant stars, our nature pushes us to discover, to learn, and to grow. This isn't just for big world discoveries. It's also for growing inside ourselves and with others. Thinkers from long ago would say that life itself is a journey, not just a place you arrive at. And a journey means movement, new sights, different feelings. When we stop moving together, that shared journey pauses. Think of it like a personal playlist. You create, you have your favorite songs, the ones you play over and over. They feel good, they're familiar. But imagine if that was the only music you ever listened to, every single day, for years. Eventually, even the best song can start to feel a little flat. It loses its spark because there's nothing new. But when you add a new song, or a whole new artist, suddenly your ears perk up. The familiar songs can sound fresh again because they're part of a changing world of sound. That's how it is with relationships. Little new experiences, even simple ones like trying a new recipe or taking a different route, can add new notes to your shared song. Love, at its heart, is a living thing. It needs sunlight, it needs rain, and new soil to truly bloom. When we stop exploring together, even in tiny ways, the colors of shared life can begin to fade. It's not about finding huge excitement every second. It's about remembering that joy can be found in the quiet adventure of discovery, side by side. It's about letting your story unfold, not just staying on the same page. Letting people outside get too involved. Have you ever thought about how a relationship is like a quiet, secret garden? It's a special, private place, just for two people. When others step inside too much, bringing their own ideas or criticisms, things can quickly get tricky and lose their peace. This mistake is about letting friends, family, or even constant scrolling through social media sway your choices and feelings too much. It's when outside voices, even well-meaning ones, become louder than the quiet, important whispers between you and your partner. Every couple needs to build its own world, a unique space where their shared rules and deep feelings matter most. It's about creating a safe haven, a sanctuary for just two. Historically, many cultures understood this deeply. They saw marriage, or any truly deep partnership, as a profound joining of two souls into a new, unique unit. This new unit needed to be strong on its own, protected, and not constantly looking for approval or endless advice from the wider world. The real strength and wisdom came from within that specific bond. Think of it like building a very delicate bridge across a wide river. You and your partner are the engineers, working together, designing every part, making sure every beam and cable is just right for your journey. But imagine if every single person passing by offered their own opinion. Make it red. No, it needs more arches. That beam looks wobbly from here. Maybe you should use a different material. If you listened to everyone, changing plans with every new suggestion, the bridge would never get built right. Or worse, it would be a messy, unstable thing, pulled in too many different directions, unable to truly hold anything steady. Your relationship is like that unique bridge. It needs your careful, shared design, your joint vision, and your mutual trust to stand strong. When too many outside voices chime in, especially with doubts or demands, it can make you doubt what you truly feel or what your partner believes. It can create small, confusing cracks in the quiet, steady trust you have built with each other. The true beauty of a deep connection is finding your own unique path together, step by step, learning to trust your shared wisdom and quiet instincts. Above all else, it's about building a love that stands tall and steady on its own 2 feet, not one constantly leaning on a crowd for support or direction. So, tend your garden with care, protect your unique bridge, let its singular, beautiful strength bloom purely from your shared effort and mutual understanding. Not having your own space, your own time. Have you ever felt like you just needed a quiet moment to yourself? Maybe after a busy day at school, you just want to sit in your room, listen to music, or just think. That feeling, that need for your own space and time, doesn't go away when you grow up and share your life with someone else. In fact, it becomes even more important. Here's the thing. People often think that in a really close relationship, you have to do everything together. Every hobby, every friend, every minute. But that's actually one of the biggest mistakes. It's like trying to share one single breath with another person, all the time. Soon, you both start feeling a little out of breath, a little lost. Even long ago, when people lived in big families and small villages, where privacy was rare, wise people understood this need. Think about it. A poet might sneak away to a quiet spot by the river. A craftsperson might spend hours alone, lost in their work. They knew that deep inside, each person has a sort of inner garden. This garden needs its own sunlight, its own water, and its own quiet care. Imagine a beautiful tree. It might be part of a vast, strong forest, standing tall with many other trees. But for that single tree to truly thrive, to grow its roots deep and spread its branches wide, it needs its own space, its own soil, its own sunshine, its own rain. It doesn't take away from the forest's strength. It adds to it. It makes the whole forest healthier and more beautiful. And that's how it is with us. When you have your own time for your thoughts, your dreams, your hobbies, when you nurture that inner garden, you become more of yourself. You become stronger, more interesting. And when you return to your shared life, you bring a richer, more vibrant self to the relationship. It's not about being separate, it's about being whole. And a whole person can share their life with an open heart, truly giving, truly receiving. Refusing to say, "I'm sorry" first. Have you ever been in an argument, maybe with a friend or someone in your family? That quiet, heavy feeling when both sides are just ... waiting for the other person to say something, anything. It's tough, right? Especially to be the one who speaks first, to say "I'm sorry." It often feels like losing, like you're admitting you were completely wrong. But here's the thing. It's rarely about who is entirely right or wrong. It's often about two people hurting, or two people simply misunderstanding each other. For a long time, across many cultures, there was this idea of saving face. It meant protecting your pride, making sure you didn't look weak. Think of old stories where kings or heroes might rather fight than admit a small mistake. This stubbornness, this refusal to bend, it was seen as strength. But actually, it often just locked people in a silent, lonely battle. Humans throughout history have struggled with the feeling that saying "I'm sorry" first somehow takes away their power. Imagine two strong magnets pushed together with the same ends facing. They just push away, always. No matter how hard you try, they repel each other. That's a bit like two people in an argument, both waiting, both pushing back with their silence. The energy stays stuck. But what happens if one magnet just lets go, or turns slightly? The whole field shifts. It doesn't mean one magnet is weaker. It means one chose to change the energy, to allow for a connection to happen. Saying "I'm sorry" first isn't a sign of weakness at all. It's actually a quiet, brave act. It's like building the very first step of a bridge over a silence that has grown too wide. It doesn't mean you take all the blame. It means you value the connection, the friendship, the family bond, more than your own stubborn pride. It means you're willing to be the first one to soften, to open the door again. And often, that one small, brave step is all it takes to help everything heal. Not letting go of a past mistake. Have you ever tried to unspill a glass of milk? You can clean it up, but you can't put the milk back in the glass exactly as it was. Holding on to a past mistake in love or marriage is a bit like that. It's when you keep going over something you or your partner did wrong, again and again, even after it's past. It's like living in yesterday, while today keeps moving on. The thing is, time only moves forward. Wise people, from ancient times to now, have always understood this. They knew you can learn from the past, but you can't change it. They taught that true strength comes from accepting what happened and then choosing to move forward. If you spend all your energy replaying a bad moment, you miss all the new good moments waiting to be made. It's about realizing that what's done is done. The power is in what you do next. Think of it like this. Imagine you're writing a story together. Maybe you wrote a clumsy sentence in an earlier chapter. You can spend all your time erasing and rewriting that one sentence in your head, even though it's already printed. Or, you can read it, learn from it, and then keep writing new, even better chapters. The old sentence is part of your story, but it doesn't have to stop the whole book from being written. In a relationship, holding on to an old argument or a misstep can stop you from writing new, happy chapters together. You get stuck on one page instead of turning it. Letting go doesn't mean you forget. It means you take the lesson from that mistake, like a quiet whisper of wisdom, and then you set down the heavy burden of regret. It means you allow yourself and the other person to breathe, to grow, and to believe that new beginnings are always possible. It's how you make space for kindness and connection to bloom, right here, right now. Trying to change who they really are. Have you ever looked at someone you care about and wished they were just a little different, maybe quieter, more outgoing, or dressed another way? It's a common thought. If they only changed one thing, everything would be perfect. But here's the thing. One of the biggest mistakes in love, in any close relationship, is trying to change who someone truly is at their core. For a long time, people have thought about what makes us unique. Ancient thinkers and poets talk about a person's true nature or inner spirit. They say each of us is like a unique star, shining in our own way. When we try to dim or change that unique shine, it's like trying to make a river flow uphill. It won't work easily, and it usually causes struggle and pain. Think about your favorite tree, a grand old oak. You love its strong branches, its sturdy trunk, but then you wish it were a delicate weeping willow. You might try to tie its branches down or trim its leaves. No matter what, that oak will always be an oak. It resists becoming a willow because that's not its true nature. Your efforts might just damage the beautiful oak you had. People are like that too. We have our own core self, personality, dreams, and quirks. These aren't just things we can switch off. When someone tries to reshape us, or we try to reshape them, it feels like a constant push and pull. It can make both people feel hurt, not good enough. True connection often grows from truly seeing someone for who they are, and choosing to love that person, not the one you wish they could be. It's about finding peace in the beauty of their unique light, not accepting their quirks and differences. Have you ever thought about what makes each person truly special, truly themselves? We all have little habits, ways of seeing the world, and things we just do differently. These are our quirks, our unique colors. But here's the thing. Sometimes, when we get close to someone, like in a friendship or family, we start to wish they were a bit more like us. We might get annoyed by their unusual ways of folding laundry, or their loud chewing, or how they hum when they're concentrating. We might even try to change them. For thousands of years, wise people have talked about the dance between two different souls. They understood that trying to force another person to be exactly what you want them to be often leads to quiet sadness. It's like trying to make a sunflower bloom like a rose. Both are beautiful, but they are beautiful in their own ways. The wisdom was not to change the flower, but to appreciate its unique beauty. Think about a symphony orchestra. It doesn't just have violins. It has booming drums, gentle flutes, deep cellos, and bright trumpets. Each instrument makes a completely different sound. If you only wanted violins, the music would be thin and less interesting. But when all those different sounds play together, accepting each other's unique voice, they create something truly grand and unforgettable. It's the differences that make the music rich. In love and in marriage, it's very much the same. The quirks that might puzzle or even annoy you are like those different instruments. They are parts of the whole, unique person you care about. When we truly accept these differences, not just put up with them, but genuinely see them as part of what makes someone special, something wonderful happens. We are saying, I see all of you, and all of you is welcome. This kind of acceptance is a quiet, powerful form of love. It allows everyone to breathe freely, to be their true selves, and to build something strong and beautiful together, with all their different notes blending into a deeper, richer song. Bringing old fights into new days. Have you ever noticed how an old argument, maybe from last week or a year ago, can suddenly pop up in a brand new day? It's like carrying a heavy backpack full of past disagreements. Instead of dealing with what's happening now, we pull out an old hurt, an old accusation that doesn't quite fit. This is a common mistake, dragging yesterday's battles into today's peace. It makes every new disagreement feel heavier, because it's not just about the new thing. It's about everything that came before. Think about how history works. Big conflicts aren't just about what happened yesterday. They're built on things from a long, long time ago. People remember old wrongs, old wounds, and bring them into new situations. This isn't just about countries, it's about us too. Our minds can be like old libraries. When we're upset, we pull out the wrong book, a story of an old fight, and read it in a brand new chapter. We link a new issue to an old one, making it bigger and harder to solve. Here's an example. Imagine playing a video game. When you finish one level, you move on. The challenges are new, and you start fresh. But what if, every time you started a new level, enemies from the last level kept reappearing? You'd be trying to beat the new boss, but old monsters would attack too, making it confusing and frustrating. That's what bringing old fights into new days feels like. You're dealing with today's small disagreement, but old monsters unresolved. Feelings, past complaints are there, making everything messy. So, here's the thing. Every morning is a chance to start fresh. Every conversation, every small disagreement, can be treated like its own moment. We can choose to leave old battles in their own time, like closing a book. It takes thought and kindness. Letting go of yesterday's burdens makes today's path much lighter. It means giving the people we care about, and ourselves, a real chance to connect, without the weight of history pulling us down. Listening to bad advice from others. Have you ever noticed how everyone seems to have an opinion, especially about big life choices? When it comes to love, or even just deep friendships, people love to offer advice. They mean well, most of the time. They share stories from their own lives, or what worked for their aunt, or what their favorite movie character did. Here's the thing. Their story isn't your story. Their map isn't always right for your journey. Think about it like this. For thousands of years, people have looked for wisdom. They'd go to elders, or read old books, hoping to find a perfect way to live. But even the wisest thinkers taught that you have to look inside yourself to play. They spoke of the importance of knowing yourself. Following someone else's path, no matter how shiny, might lead you away from where you truly belong. Their advice comes from their own past, their own hurts, or their own joys. It's like trying to navigate a forest using a map drawn for a different forest in a different season. Imagine learning to play a musical instrument, like the guitar. Someone tells you to hold it a certain way, or to strum really hard, because that's how they learned. But your hands are different, your rhythm is different. What worked for them might just make your hands ache, your music sound off-key. True harmony comes from finding your own way with the instrument, adapting it to you. In relationships, it's similar. What helps one couple grow might actually shrink another. So when the well-meaning advice comes, let it float past like whispers on the wind. Listen with an open heart, but then turn inward. Feel what truly resonates with your own spirit. The most beautiful love stories are written by the two people living them, guided by their own compass, not by echoed opinions. Trust that quiet knowing within you. That's where your truest wisdom lies. Being selfish with your own wants. Have you ever found yourself thinking only about what you want? Maybe it's about what movie to watch, or where to eat, or even how your future should look. It's natural to have desires, but here's the thing. When we only focus on our own wants, without really seeing or caring about the wants of someone we love, that's when trouble starts. Imagine for a moment the very old idea of a community. Way back, in ancient times, people lived in tribes or small villages. Survival wasn't about one person getting everything they wanted. It was about everyone working together, sharing, and looking out for each other. If one person always grabbed the best food or ignored the group's needs, the whole community suffered. It was understood that true well-being came from balance, from a shared dance of giving and receiving. That ancient wisdom still whispers to us today. Think of it like a beautiful song. A song needs different notes, different instruments playing together. If one instrument played its own tune, loud and ignoring others, the music becomes noise. It loses its beauty, its harmony. Our relationships are like that song. Your wants are one note, and your partner's wants are another. For the song of your life together to be beautiful, both notes need to be heard, respected, and played in tune. When we are selfish with our own wants, we forget love isn't just about us. It's about two people blending their lives. It's about finding a rhythm where both can feel seen, heard, and cared for. And that's why it matters. Because true happiness, the kind that lasts, isn't found in getting everything you want. It's found in the quiet joy of making space for someone else's joy. Took bits. It's in the gentle art of growing a shared life where both of you can truly bloom. Only seeing what you can get. Have you ever thought about how we look at the world, and especially at other people? Sometimes it's like we're wearing special glasses. These glasses only let us see what we can gain, what we can take. This is a quiet, often hidden, mistake in love and marriage. It's about seeing someone not as a person, but as a resource for your own needs. Long ago, wise thinkers observed something important about human connection. They saw that true bonds weren't about just one person's desires. It was about a dance, a give and take. Imagine a deep well. If you only ever draw water out, without ever letting rain or springs fill it up again, that well will eventually run dry. And what happens when a well runs dry? Everyone who depended on it suffers. Think about a garden. A garden grows best when the gardener gives it water, sunlight, and good soil. If the gardener only expects beautiful flowers and ripe fruit without ever doing the work of caring, the plants will struggle. In human connection, it's similar. If you only look for what your partner can give you, their time, their gifts, their comfort, their emotional support, without thinking about what you can offer back, that relationship can feel cold and empty for them. Love, in its deepest form, isn't about collecting things or services. It's about seeing another person fully, truly. Imagine holding a unique seashell. You don't just admire its shape, you also feel its texture, hear the ocean's whisper inside it. That's like seeing a person. You don't just see what they do for you, you see their dreams, their fears, their own shining light. When we focus only on what we can get, we build walls, not bridges. We miss the chance to truly see someone, to truly connect. This mistake quietly empties the well of connection, leaving a lonely echo. And that's why it matters. It stops us from building something truly beautiful, a place where two souls can genuinely bloom together. Not knowing how to forgive, really forgive. Have you ever felt like you were carrying a heavy stone inside your chest? A hurt, a disappointment, something someone did that just keeps echoing in your mind. That feeling, that ache, often comes from not truly knowing how to forgive, and not just saying the words, but really forgiving. Here's the thing. Forgiveness isn't about saying what happened was okay. It's not about letting someone off the hook. Think of it more like deciding to cut a rope that ties you to a painful past event. That rope might connect you to anger, sadness, or resentment. When you truly forgive, you are not doing it for the other person. Not really. You are doing it for yourself. It's about setting yourself free from carrying that heavy burden. People have understood this for thousands of years. Ancient thinkers, long ago, talked about the importance of letting go of grudges. They knew that holding on to anger was like drinking poison yourself, hoping the other person would get sick. They saw forgiveness as a path to inner peace, a way to keep your heart from growing cold or hard. It's a brave choice, this decision to release the hold that hurt has on you. Imagine your heart as a beautiful garden. When someone hurts you, it's like a thorny weed starts to grow in that garden. If you ignore it or keep poking at it, that weed just gets bigger, its roots spreading, taking up all the good space. It chokes out the pretty flowers and the fresh air. Forgiveness is like gently, carefully pulling that weed out. It might sting a little at first, and you'll definitely remember where the weed used to be, but once it's gone, your garden can breathe again. New, good things can grow there. When you truly let go, you create space. Space for calm, space for understanding, and most importantly, space for your own heart to heal and grow stronger. It's a quiet power, this choice to release what holds you back. It clears a path for peace, not just in love and marriage, but in all parts of your life. Pretending everything is fine when it's not. Have you ever felt a small, quiet worry inside you, like a pebble in your shoe, but decided to just not say anything? Maybe you smiled even when you felt sad, or agreed with someone when you actually felt differently. This is what it means to pretend everything is fine when it's not. It's about hiding real feelings, not just from others, but sometimes even from ourselves. People have struggled with this for a very long time. Thinkers from ancient Greece, like Socrates, believed that knowing yourself and being honest about what you find is super important. They taught that trying to live a good life while ignoring problems or hiding how you truly feel is like building a house on sand. It might look strong on the outside, but it's weak underneath. Here's an example to think about. Imagine you have a tiny leak in a pipe under your sink. It's just a drip, drip, drip. You see it, but you put a bowl under it and decide to ignore it. You tell yourself it's fine, it's not a big deal. But that small drip isn't really fine. Over time, that water can spread, causing mold, rotting the wood, and eventually, the whole pipe might burst. The tiny leak is like the small problem or feeling you ignore. If you don't fix it when it's small, it can grow into a much bigger mess. It's hard to speak up sometimes, especially when it feels like it might cause a ripple. But true peace isn't found in silence when something is wrong. It's found in brave honesty, in gentle conversations, and in facing things as they are. When we choose to acknowledge the small cracks, we give ourselves a chance to mend them, making connections stronger and more real. That quiet courage is a gift, building a foundation that lasts. Avoiding the tough conversations. Have you ever felt a quiet space grow between two people, like a silent wall slowly rising? Sometimes, in love and marriage, we face moments that feel too big to talk about. Maybe it's a small worry, a disagreement, or a feeling that just doesn't sit right. And so, we stay silent. We hope the problem will just fade away, like a bad dream. But here's the thing, problems rarely disappear on their own. They just learn to hide. For thousands of years, people have understood that true strength isn't just about physical power. It's also about the courage to speak truth, especially when it's uncomfortable. Ancient thinkers, watching how families and communities worked, knew that unspoken hurts could poison relationships from the inside. They saw that silence, though sometimes peaceful, could also be a heavy burden, weighing down hearts and minds. It's like a small leak in a boat. At first, it's just a drip, easy to ignore. You might think, oh, it's not much water, I can just step over it. But if you never fix that tiny hole, the water keeps coming in. Slowly, silently, the boat fills, until one day, it's too heavy to float. Our feelings, our worries, and even our small arguments are a bit like that water. If we let them collect, hidden and unaddressed, they can sink the most beautiful connections. It takes courage to open that door, to say, this is hard, but we need to talk. This isn't about blaming or fighting. It's about tending to the garden of your relationship, pulling out the weeds before they take over. It's about building a space where feelings can breathe, where honesty is a gentle hand that strengthens rather than hurts. When we find the words for what's difficult, we build bridges, not walls. And that's a beautiful way to grow together. Letting little annoyances pile up. Have you ever noticed how the smallest things can sometimes feel really big? In love and marriage, it's often not big fights that cause the most damage. Instead, it's tiny, quiet things we let slip by. Day after day. Think about a jacket left on the floor, or a wet towel. Maybe it's a dish left next to the sink. Each one seems small, easy to ignore. You might tell yourself, it's just a small thing. But these little things don't disappear. They quietly pile up, like sand building a mountain, or drops filling a cup until it overflows. Ancient thinkers, even in old Greece, knew the importance of little things. They saw how paying attention to small details could lead to a calmer life. Big problems rarely just appear. They usually start as tiny, unnoticed cracks. It's an old, simple idea, but still true today. Imagine a tiny pebble in your shoe. At first, it's just a little annoyance. You might think, I'll deal with it later. But as you walk, it presses and rubs, growing more uncomfortable. Soon your foot hurts, and all you can think about is that small pebble. Now a big ache. In relationships, those small annoyances are like that pebble. They start as tiny marks on patience. When they build up, it's not about the jacket or the dish. It's about feeling unheard or not important. These feelings, from small neglects, can build a wall. So, here's what I found. We need to notice these small things, talk about them gently, with kindness, before they become heavy. Tending to small, everyday moments builds deep connection. It protects the quiet space where love grows strong and stays bright. Not asking for help when you need it. Have you ever felt a heavy weight, like a secret you couldn't share? Maybe you felt lost, but something held you back from speaking up. This quiet struggle is common in life, especially in love. It's a mistake we often make, trying to carry every burden alone. Here's the thing. Our world sometimes tells us we must be strong all the time. In old stories, heroes often did things alone. You might think asking for help means you're weak. Even some ancient thinkers believed true wisdom came from needing nothing. But human connection is built on needing each other. We aren't meant to be islands. Imagine a small, thirsty plant. Its leaves droop. If it could speak, it might feel ashamed to ask for rain, or believe it should find water itself. But if no one waters it, or its roots don't find a deep source, it will wither. Our souls and relationships are a bit like that plant. When troubles come, when doubts creep in, or the path seems too dark, we need water, we need light. That water is the support, advice, or just a listening ear from our partner or a friend. Not asking for help can make problems grow bigger in the quiet darkness of our minds. It builds walls, not bridges, between us and the people we love. But here's the truth. Reaching out, even with a quiet whisper, shows a different kind of strength. It shows courage. It also builds trust. When you let someone in, you allow them to truly see you, and you give them a chance to help ease your load. Love isn't just about two separate people, but about creating a shared, safe space, where every need can be gently spoken, and every burden shared. Not giving help when they need it. Have you ever seen someone you care about, maybe a friend, struggling, but you just didn't step in? Perhaps you didn't notice, or you were caught up in your own life. This isn't about purposeful harm. It's about the help that isn't offered, the hand not extended, when another person is silently, or not so silently, hurting or overwhelmed. Humans have always known we need each other to thrive. Ancient stories and wise thinkers from around the world taught about supporting your community, your family. They knew we were stronger together, that looking out for one another was vital. It's a basic human need, to feel seen, to feel supported, to know you're not alone when life gets heavy. Presence, in these moments, is a powerful gift. Imagine a friend struggling at school. They're quiet, shoulders slumped, avoiding your eyes. You see it, you feel a nudge of concern, but you don't ask, "Are you okay?" You don't offer to listen. It's like a plant slowly wilting in a corner, while people walk by, noticing its fading color, but never watering it. That plant, or person, starts to feel invisible, slowly fading. This quiet omission matters deeply in close relationships. When we fail to offer comfort or practical help, when we look away from a quiet plea, a small crack can form. It whispers, you are on your own. Love and connection are built on countless acts of seeing, responding, and truly caring. To miss these moments isn't a loud fight, but a quiet fading of trust. It leaves behind a sense of being alone, even with someone right beside you, and feeling truly alone is a heavy burden to carry. Blaming them for everything that goes wrong. Have you ever noticed how easy it is, when something goes wrong, to look for someone else to blame? Maybe the homework didn't get done, or a plan fell apart. In the journey of love and marriage, this can become a quiet, deep mistake. It's like carrying a heavy cloak of disappointment, always ready to throw it over your partner, saying, "This is all your fault." When we always point the finger, it means we're not looking at our own side of the story. It means we're not asking, "What part did I play in this? What can I do to make it better?" People have thought about this for ages. Ancient thinkers talked about how we are responsible for our choices, even when things are hard. It's a very old idea. This looking inside yourself. Think about a garden. If the flowers aren't blooming, you could just blame the sun for being too hot, or the rain for not falling enough. But a gardener who truly cares will also check the soil, the seeds, and how much they've tended the plants. If you only blame the sun, you might miss that the soil needs nutrients, or the seeds were planted wrong. It's the same in a relationship. If you only see your partner as the problem, you miss all the other things that might be happening. Even within yourself, here's the thing. Love is a shared garden. It asks both people to care for it, to tend to it. When we take back the blame we've given away, when we choose to look inward too, a new path opens up. It's a path of understanding, of shared growth. This quiet shift, from blame to shared responsibility, helps the garden bloom in unexpected ways, even after a long, difficult storm. Not building a strong friendship first. Have you ever wondered why some connections feel easy and strong, like they just fit, and why others, even when there's a lot of excitement, just don't last? Here's the thing. Often, the biggest mistake people make in love is not building a deep friendship first. Think about it. We see movies and stories where love is this huge, sudden spark, and sure, that spark can be amazing, but for something to truly last, to really weather the storms of life, it needs more than just a spark. It needs roots. For a long time, wise people, even ancient Greek thinkers like Aristotle, talked about different kinds of love. They valued a type of love called philia, which is about deep friendship, loyalty, and shared life. It was seen as a truly important kind of bond, maybe even more stable than just passionate love. They knew that really knowing someone, enjoying their company, and trusting them was key. Imagine trying to grow a tall, strong tree. You don't just plant a seed and expect it to stand firm through a big storm right away. No, you need to care for the soil, give it water, protect its young roots. That quiet, steady care is like friendship in a relationship. It's the daily conversations, the silly jokes, the shared quiet moments, the knowing glances. It's feeling truly comfortable, like you can be yourself, even your messy self, and they still like you. When you have a solid friendship as your foundation, the romantic feelings that come later have a safe place to grow. They have something steady to hold on to. So, when we rush into romance without that strong, quiet bond, it's like trying to build a beautiful house on shifting sand. It might look good for a while, but a strong wind, a little bit of trouble, and the whole thing could wobble. But if you have that deep friendship, that knowing and valuing of the other person just as they are, then love isn't just a firework. It's a warm, steady hearth. It's a place where you always feel safe, truly seen, and deeply understood. And that feeling, that sense of belonging, is what makes love feel like coming home. Letting past heartbreak cloud today. Have you ever felt a whisper from yesterday, pulling you back? It's like when a dark cloud from a storm that passed long ago still seems to hang over your head. Even when the sun is shining brightly today, when our hearts have been hurt, maybe by a friend who let us down, or by something painful a family member said, we learn to protect ourselves. That protection can be good. It teaches us caution, but sometimes that shield becomes too big, too heavy. Like looking out at a brand new day through a window that's already cracked from an old impact. You see the world, the green trees, the clear sky, but everything looks broken, distorted. Even if the new person in front of you is kind and genuine, your mind might see the shadow of someone who hurt you before. This isn't a new problem. Thinkers, for thousands of years, from ancient Greece to modern times, have talked about how our memories can shape our present. They knew that holding on to old pain can stop us from truly seeing what's right in front of us, or from taking a brave step towards something new and good. Think of it like this. You might have really loved a certain type of food, but then you ate too much of it once and felt sick. Now, even the smell of it makes you feel unwell, even if it's perfectly prepared and would taste good. The memory of feeling sick clouds your ability to enjoy it now. That old feeling, that past experience, is trying to protect you, but is also stopping you from experiencing something potentially wonderful in the present. The past is a teacher, not a prison. It offers lessons, whispers of wisdom, but it doesn't own your tomorrow. Every sunrise brings a chance for a new sky, a new view. You get to decide if you look at it through clear glass or through the cracks of yesterday. Be gentle with your heart, but also brave enough to let the new light in. Living in the future, not the now. Have you ever found yourself wishing for later? We often imagine a future where everything is perfect, where problems are solved. Only then, we think, will we truly be happy in our relationships. But sometimes, this constant looking ahead pulls us away from today. We save our best smiles, our deepest talks, for a tomorrow that might not unfold as we pictured it. It's natural to dream and plan. For centuries, people have imagined better times, building toward a bigger vision. Yet, ancient thinkers, like those in Greece and Rome, reminded us of the now. They taught that true life, true joy, isn't waiting in some distant, shiny future. It's here, in the quiet breath you just took, in the words you hear right now. They called it carpe diem, seize the day, not because tomorrow is bad, but because today is real. Think of it like a gardener. They don't just plant seeds and wait for a faraway harvest to be happy. They find joy in watering small sprouts today. They notice tiny buds, fresh green leaves, even the struggle against a weed. If they only thought of the perfect, ripe fruit weeks away, they'd miss the gentle beauty of each morning's growth. In love, it's the same. We can be so busy planning a perfect party or saving for a dream house that we forget to truly see the person sitting across from us. We miss the small laughs, the shared silence, the simple touch that builds real connection. So, here's what I found. Love isn't a race to a finish line. It's a journey made of countless, precious nows. Each moment, even the messy ones, is a chance to plant something kind, to water a growing trust. When we learn to breathe in the present, to truly be here, the future we long for starts to bloom right where we stand. And that's why it matters. Getting bored with the everyday magic? Have you ever stopped looking at the sky, even though it changes every single day? It's like we start to forget the wonder in things that are always there. That's a bit like what happens in long-term love and marriage. At first, everything feels new and exciting. Every shared laugh, every quiet moment, every small kindness feels like a special gift. This is the everyday magic. It's not about grand gestures or big surprises. It's about the steady warmth of someone who knows you, who makes you a cup of tea just right, or remembers a tiny detail about your day. Here's the thing. After a while, these small, wonderful moments can start to feel normal. We stop seeing them as magic. They just become part of the background. Think about it this way. When you first get a new phone, you explore every app, every setting. You're amazed by what it can do. But after a year, it's just your phone. You use it without really thinking about the incredible technology in your hand. This isn't a new idea. Philosophers for ages have talked about how humans get used to their blessings. The ancient Stoics, for example, often reminded people to practice gratitude, to purposely notice the simple good things they already had, so they wouldn't take them for granted. They knew that human nature can make us blind to what's constant and reliable. It's a mistake to let that happen in a relationship. When we stop noticing the daily magic, it's like we're dimming our own lights. The magic doesn't vanish. We just stop looking for it. The soft touch, the comfortable silence, the shared memory, these things are still there. But if we don't pay attention, if we don't feel a small spark of gratitude for them, they can fade into the ordinary. So here's what matters. Real magic isn't a flash in the pan. It's often a quiet, steady glow. Learning to see it, day after day, in the familiar, is how we keep love alive and warm. It's a choice to keep our eyes open, even when things feel routine. Not sharing your true feelings, the deep ones. Have you ever felt like a secret garden, known only to you? Or like an ocean calm on top, but with vast, hidden depths? Here's the thing about close relationships. Sometimes we keep our truly deep feelings hidden. Not just everyday worries, but the fears that whisper, the big dreams that make your heart ache, the old hurts that still sting. We tuck them away, maybe thinking they're too much, or too fragile to share. But these hidden parts, they are the real you. For ages, thinkers have said, know thyself. That's important, but the next step is letting someone else know that self, too. It's about showing the real, messy, magnificent person inside. It's hard, but it's how true connection grows. What's the point of a bond if it's only with a surface version of you? Think of your deepest feelings like ocean treasures. The surface is bright, but the unique life is far below, in the dark. If you never let anyone explore those depths, they only see the surface. They don't truly understand the vast world inside you. They can't appreciate the quiet beauty there, and that's why it matters. Sharing these deep feelings isn't weakness, it's bravery. It's trusting another with your most precious parts. When you share the depths, true love grows. A love that understands not just calm waves, but the powerful, quiet world beneath. It's like turning on a light in a hidden room, letting understanding fill a space once dark. This helps you build something truly strong. Only complaining, never praising. Ever wonder what happens to a beautiful garden if you only talk about the weeds, but never the flowers? What if you only ever point out what's wrong, and never what's right? Here's the thing, in love and marriage, always complaining and never praising can be like a slow, quiet poison dot. Think about it. We all have moments when we mess up. We forget something, we say the wrong thing, we leave a mess, and sometimes it feels like our partner, or even a friend, only ever notices those slip-ups. It's like they have a magnifying glass just for mistakes, but a kind word, a simple thank you, or a note of appreciation, those seem to get lost in the wind. Ancient thinkers, long ago, understood the power of our words. They knew that what we speak shapes our world, and especially our relationships. It's like a scale. If you keep adding heavy stones of complaint to one side and never put any feathers of praise on the other, the scale tips, and the whole thing feels off balance. The person you're with starts to feel small, unseen, or like they can never do anything right. Imagine you're working on a big school project with someone. You spend hours, you try your best, but every time you show your partner something, they only point out the errors. This font is wrong. That sentence is weird. You forgot a comma here. Never. That's a great idea. Or you really made this part clear. How would you feel? Soon, you'd probably stop trying as hard, or even stop wanting to work with that person at all. You'd feel drained, not helped. And that's why it matters so much. A relationship isn't just about fixing problems. It's about seeing the good. It's about celebrating the small wins and the big efforts. When we learn to voice our appreciation, even for the quiet, everyday things, we build something stronger. We create a space where both people feel seen, valued, and loved. It's in those quiet words of praise that hearts can truly grow. Not saying thank you enough. For real, have you ever thought about how sometimes the quietest things make the biggest difference? It's easy to spot the huge, loud mistakes. But here's the thing. Often the biggest problems in love don't come from giant fights. They grow from tiny, almost invisible acts of forgetting. One of those quiet, powerful things we forget is simply saying thank you. It sounds small, doesn't it? Just 2 words. But think of it like this. Every time someone does something kind for you, big or small, makes a snack, helps with a chore, listens, or remembers something you like, that's a gift. A gift, no matter its size, deserves to be seen. Long ago thinkers knew gratitude was key for a strong society. It wasn't just good manners. It was about seeing and valuing each other, noticing the light someone brought into your day. Imagine a garden. You water the big flowers, but what about the soil? The tiny roots holding everything together. If you stop giving even small sips of water, day after day, the soil gets dry, roots weaken. Even the strongest plant struggles. Not saying thank you enough is like forgetting to water the soil of your relationship. It's letting everyday kindnesses go unnoticed. When we don't say thank you, a silent message gets sent. I expected this, or I didn't notice. Over time, these unacknowledged efforts feel heavy, like stones adding up in someone's pocket. It can make a person feel unseen, unvalued, like their efforts don't matter. And that's why it matters. Gratitude isn't just politeness. It's the light that helps people feel seen and appreciated. It's a soft, steady hum keeping connection alive. It reminds both people their presence, effort, and love are gifts not taken for granted. So, pausing to offer that simple thank you can be like gentle rain on dry ground, nourishing what really matters. Being too busy for quiet moments. What happens when we get so caught up in the noise of daily life? We forget about just ... being. It's a quiet mistake, often overlooked, but it can slowly, gently pull us apart. This is about making no space for the soft, unspoken moments in a relationship. It's about filling every gap with tasks, screens, or worries, leaving no room for simple quiet. Think about it like this. Even long ago, people knew the value of stillness. Ancient thinkers often talked about quiet reflection, not as a waste of time, but as a deep necessity. They knew that true understanding and connection don't always happen in busy chatter or grand plans. Sometimes, they bloom in the calm. Today, we're taught to always be on, always doing something, always connected. But this constant activity can make us forget the simple, profound power of just sitting together, saying nothing, just feeling presence. Here's an example. Imagine your phone. It needs to charge, right? And if you keep using it, playing games or watching videos while it's charging, it takes forever to fill up. Sometimes, it never truly gets to 100%. Our connections with people are a lot like that. They need moments of quiet, off-screen charging. They need time when nothing specific is happening. No demands are being made, just shared space. This lets the connection truly deepen and recharge. When we are too busy for these quiet moments, it's like we are trying to grow a beautiful garden, but we forget to let the gentle rain fall. We provide sunlight and good soil, but we miss the quiet, slow soaking that truly nourishes the roots. These shared silences, these moments of simply being together without a plan, are where love takes root. They are the gentle breath a relationship takes, and that's why it matters. It's in these soft, still moments that hearts truly connect, building a deep, lasting bond that words alone can't create. Letting your phone be the third person. Have you ever been talking to someone, really trying to share something important, but their eyes keep drifting down? Maybe they tap a finger on their screen, or a notification lights up, and suddenly, their mind isn't fully with you anymore. Here's the thing. When your phone takes over like that, it starts to act like a third person in your relationship, even if it's just between two friends or a family. Think about it. A phone can demand attention, make noises, and show endless distractions. Pulls your focus away from the person right in front of you. Long ago, before phones, people would just sit together. They'd talk, they'd listen, they'd look into each other's eyes. There were no bright screens or buzzing alerts. Their attention was truly, completely focused on the conversation, on the person. That deep, undivided attention was a powerful gift, and it helped them really understand each other. It's a bit like trying to fill a water glass that has a tiny hole in the bottom. You pour in the water, but some keeps leaking out. When you're with someone, and your phone is pulling at your attention, it's like that tiny hole. Your presence, your focus, your energy, it all leaks away, little by little. You might be physically there, but your mind is halfway in another world, scrolling through feeds or waiting for a message. The other person can feel that absence. They notice you're not fully present. Over time, these little leaks can add up. They can quietly, almost secretly, create a distance between people. That space, once filled with shared laughter, deep talks, and comfortable silence, can become empty. The real beauty of love and connection comes from truly being seen and heard. It's about giving someone the gift of your complete attention. When we put our phones down and fully engage, we build something strong and real. We let the other person know they matter, more than any notification could. And that's a silent promise, worth more than all the digital worlds combined. Not having fun together anymore. Have you ever stopped to think about what makes your best friendships feel so alive? It's often the shared laughter, the silly inside jokes, the moments when you're just having pure, simple fun together, right? Here's the thing. In love and marriage, sometimes that playful spirit, that easy joy, slowly starts to fade away. It's not about huge arguments or big betrayals. It's a quiet change, like a favorite song that just loses its melody. When couples stop making time for fun, for lightness, for doing things that make them genuinely happy together, a vital part of their connection can grow weak. People have understood this idea for a very long time. Even ancient thinkers knew it. They believed that play, laughter, and celebration weren't just extra things, but important parts of life itself. They saw how joy kept communities strong and spirits healthy. It's like a plant needs sunlight and water to truly thrive, not just soil. Think about a scientific experiment, like two magnets that attract each other. When they are strong and full of energy, they pull together easily. But if one of them starts to lose its magnetic pull, or if there's a barrier between them, that connection weakens. Shared fun acts like the energy that keeps the magnets of a relationship strong and drawn to each other. It's the shared smiles, the easygoing chats, the goofy dances in the kitchen. These moments create a kind of warmth, a feeling of belonging, that goes beyond just living together. So, when the fun vanishes, it leaves an empty space. It reminds us that love isn't just about big promises or solving problems. It's also about cherishing the simple, happy moments, the shared lightness. These moments are like tiny, bright stars that guide the way, making the whole journey feel worthwhile and bringing a quiet comfort to the soul. Forgetting to laugh out loud together, have you ever noticed how the sound of shared laughter can slowly fade in a home? It's a quiet change, like a favorite song becoming just background noise. We often focus on big fights or serious problems in relationships, but sometimes the biggest mistake is simply forgetting the lightness, the sheer joy of giggling together. Laughter is more than just a sound. It's a quiet bridge between two people, a secret language that says, I see you, I get you, and we're in this together. Imagine a world without sunlight. Everything would still be there, but colors would be dull. Many ancient cultures saw joy and play as key parts of a good life. They knew a happy heart was a healthy heart, and shared laughter was a direct way to that happiness. Think of it like a plant. It needs water to live, true, but it also needs sunlight to truly bloom. Laughter is that sunlight for a relationship. It keeps things fresh, reminds you not to take everything too seriously, and helps you get through tricky moments. When you laugh with someone, even a small giggle, you're making tiny pockets of shared joy. These moments build up, like small drops filling a well, keeping the bond strong and bright. So here's the thing. Love isn't just about serious talks and fixing problems. It's also about finding reasons to smile, to play, to let go of worries for a moment, and just be silly. It's about remembering that even when life gets tough, there's always room for a chuckle, a shared joke, a burst of warmth. Don't let the quiet of forgotten laughter settle in. Seek out those bright moments, not defending them to others. Have you ever heard someone say something unkind about a friend, and you just stood there, quiet? Or maybe you even agreed a little, just to fit in. Here's the thing. In love and marriage, not standing up for your partner to others can quietly chip away at the very foundation of trust. It's like a slow leak in a tire. You don't notice it much at first, but eventually, it leaves you stranded. Think about it. Long ago, in many cultures, family honor was everything. If you belonged to a clan or a tribe, defending your own was not just expected. It was how you showed loyalty and strength. It wasn't about being perfect. It was about presenting a united front to the world. This idea that you protect your inner circle goes way back. It's a quiet promise made between people who choose to build a life together. Imagine a sports team. When they are on the field, even if a player makes a mistake, the rest of the team doesn't join the crowd in booing them. Instead, they try to pick them up, defend their position, and work together. They know that what happens inside their huddle stays inside their huddle, and to the outside, they are one unit. If a player starts trash-talking their own teammate, to the fans, it ruins the team spirit. Right. It makes everyone feel less safe, less like they belong. It's the same in a relationship. When someone speaks badly about your partner, whether it's a small joke or a serious complaint, your silence can feel like agreement. Your partner might wonder, do they really have my back? Am I truly safe with them? It's a deep, silent question. In their heart, being a shield, even a small one, shows that you value them. It shows the world that they are important to you, that their worth is not up for debate. This isn't about ignoring problems or pretending everything is perfect. It's about how you choose to show loyalty when you are not alone with your partner. It's about building a feeling of unwavering support, a quiet strength that says, we are in this together. Letting your friends dictate your love. Do you ever feel caught between your friends' thoughts and your own heart? It's natural to value their opinions. But what happens when their voices get louder than your own, especially about who you love? This is letting friends dictate your love, letting their opinions shape your own choices. Think about this. Long ago, marriage wasn't your choice. Families often decided. They looked at things like wealth or powerful alliances. It was about family good, not individual feelings. But over time, people believed personal connection and love mattered most. Your own feelings about another person started to matter more than others' thoughts. Here's the thing. While we have more freedom now, the old echo of what will others think can can still be strong from friends. Imagine picking your favorite color. Your friends keep telling you which one you should like, based on their tastes. You might even start to believe them, or feel bad for liking something different. They might see flaws you don't, or miss the good you see. They might want to protect you, or just have a different idea of good. But here's the problem. True connection is a language only to people truly understand. It's built on shared moments and quiet feelings only you know. Listening too much to others can make you doubt your own heart. It can even push away someone truly special. How do you listen to your heart's quiet whispers, even when others are loud? Remember, your love story is uniquely yours, a path only you can walk. Being dishonest about money, even small amounts. Have you ever stopped to think about how even the smallest secret can weigh on your mind? Like a tiny hidden coin, or a small purchase you don't mention. It might seem like nothing, just a few dollars, here or there. But in love, in a marriage, even these small dishonesties about money can begin to chip away at something much bigger. Trust. It's not about the amount of money, usually, it's about the hidden truth. Imagine a beautiful, strong rope, woven from countless threads. Each thread represents a moment of trust, a shared laugh, an honest conversation. Now, imagine one tiny thread is secretly frayed, or a new, weaker thread is quietly added in its place. You might not see it right away, but that hidden weakness changes the strength of the whole rope. It's less trustworthy, isn't it? For thousands of years, people have known that trust is like the very bedrock of anything important we build together. Ancient thinkers often talked about honesty as the quiet glue that held families and even whole towns together. If you couldn't trust what someone said, especially about things you shared, like food or resources, how could you ever truly build something lasting with them? It's a bit like a tiny crack in a window pane. At first, it's just a hairline fracture, so small, you barely notice it. But with time, and maybe a little everyday pressure, that crack can start to spread. It doesn't shatter the window right away, but it makes the glass weaker, more fragile. You begin to feel a quiet worry about it, even if you don't look at it directly. In your mind, when you hold back even a small financial detail, it creates a tiny, quiet space of discomfort. You know something your partner doesn't, and that hidden knowledge can feel heavy. It's not just a number on a bill or a secret snack. It's a quiet choosing of secrecy over openness, a subtle breaking of a shared understanding. The real cost of these small dishonesties isn't just about money. It's about the slow fading of peace, the quiet whisper of doubt that can enter a relationship. A bond feels so much lighter and freer when everything, even the smallest coin, is out in the open, shared honestly. Because true wealth isn't just what you have, but who you share it with, and how openly you do it. Not having your own life and hobbies. Have you ever thought about what makes a person truly shine, even when they're part of a pair? It's a quiet strength, an inner light that belongs only to them. One of the biggest mistakes people can make, in love, and especially in marriage, is to let that light dim by losing themselves. This happens when you stop having your own life, your own dreams, your own special hobbies and friends, separate from your partner. It's easy to fall into this. You love someone, and you want to share everything. So, their interests become your interests, their friends become your only friends. Slowly, without even realizing it, the unique parts of you that existed before the relationship start to fade. The things that made you laugh on your own, the quiet hobbies that brought you peace, they get put aside. Long ago, thinkers like the ancient Greeks talked about knowing thyself. This wasn't just about figuring out your favorite color. It was about understanding your own spirit, your unique purpose, and what makes you feel alive. They believed that to be a complete person, you needed to cultivate your inner world, not just focus on what was outside of you. This idea tells us that being a whole person on your own is important, even when you choose to connect deeply with another. Think of it like a tree. A tree needs its own strong roots to stand tall, even if it's growing in a forest. If it always leans on another tree for support, its own roots might not grow deep. But if it has its own sturdy foundation, it can stand strong and healthy, adding beauty to the forest. In the same way, you need your own roots, your interests, your friends, your space, to be a strong, healthy person in a relationship. When you keep your own life vibrant, you bring more to the relationship. You have new stories to share, fresh energy, and a clearer sense of who you are. This isn't about being selfish, it's about nurturing your spirit, so you have more to give. It means you're not just a part of someone else's world, but a whole, interesting world all your own, ready to share its wonders. Losing your spark, and not trying to find it. Have you ever noticed how things that once felt really special, like a new friendship or a favorite hobby, can start to feel ... just normal? That's kind of what can happen in love and marriage. The spark is that bright, alive feeling. It's the wonder, the excitement, the deep pull you felt toward someone at the start. It's like a quiet hum inside you, telling you this connection is joyful. Over time, that first, bright sparkle can dim. It doesn't mean the love is gone, or that something is broken beyond repair. It just means the initial newness has softened. And here's the thing, this fading isn't the mistake. It's a natural part of life, like how seasons change or how a familiar song doesn't surprise you anymore. The true mistake, the really sad part, is when people notice that dimming and decide not to try to find the spark again or to create a new kind of light. Think about a campfire. When you first light it, it glows with energy, warm and crackling. But if you just leave it, without adding more logs or stirring the embers, it will slowly cool down. It won't stay a roaring fire. Eventually, it will just be smoke and ash. The fire didn't make a mistake by cooling. The mistake was not adding more wood, not tending to it. For a long time, people have understood that important things need care. Ancient thinkers often talked about how a good life, or a strong bond, isn't just given, it's grown. It's like a garden. You plant seeds, and they look beautiful at first. But if you don't water them, or pull the weeds, they won't last. The lasting beauty comes from the constant looking after. So when that first bright spark seems to dim in a relationship, it's not an ending, it's an invitation. It's a chance to ask, how can we add more wood to our fire? How can we tend our garden differently now? The biggest mistake isn't that things change, because everything does. It's choosing to accept that change as a final closing, instead of seeing it as a new path to explore, a chance to nurture, and to find a deeper, more steady warmth than the first fleeting flame, expecting them to fill every empty space. Have you ever felt a quiet space inside you, like a room that's a little empty? Maybe it's a longing for happiness, or a need to feel truly seen, truly complete. Here's the thing, sometimes, when we step into love or marriage, we might, without even realizing it, expect our partner to fill every single one of those empty spaces for us. We might hope they'll be the one who makes us feel whole, who brings all the joy we think we're missing. For a long time, people have told stories about finding your other half, like ancient Greek ideas about humans originally having 4 arms and 4 legs, then being split apart, always searching for their missing piece. It's a beautiful thought, really, to imagine someone out there who completes you perfectly. But here's the problem. If you believe you're only half a person until you find someone else, you're putting a huge heavy burden on them. It's like arriving at a garden, one you imagine will grow all your favorite flowers, but you haven't brought any seeds, or even a watering can. You just expect the other person to be the sunshine, the soil, and the gardener for you, forever. Think of it like this. You are your own garden. You have sunshine within you, and seeds of joy, peace, and interest. You need to water those seeds, tend to your own plants, and even pull your own weeds. If you wait for someone else to plant every flower, to bring all the water and light, your garden might stay bare. And their garden, their own life, might suffer too, because they're constantly trying to tend to yours instead of their own. So, this mistake is really about forgetting that we are already whole people. We have our own light, our own strength, and when we know how to tend our own garden, to cultivate our own happiness and peace, then we don't demand that another person be our entire world. Instead, we can share our beautiful, blooming garden with them and admire theirs in return. It's a softer, truer way to be together. Not feeling like a team, but 2 individuals. Imagine 2 people, side by side, yet each feeling completely alone. It's a strange feeling, isn't it? In love and marriage, it's easy for this to happen. Instead of feeling like a single unit, a strong pair, people might start feeling like 2 separate circles instead of one big, shared space. When this happens, they might stop sharing their worries, or celebrating small wins together. They start to think only about my needs, my problems, instead of our journey. They forget that the person beside them is meant to be a partner, not just a bystander. Long ago, thinkers like the ancient Greeks talked about true friendship. They believed the best kind of connection meant to people becoming almost one soul, working for the same goals, not in a spooky way, but in a way that truly connects their hearts and minds. They saw how much stronger and happier people were when they moved through life together, as partners. This idea of unity, of shared purpose, has been around for thousands of years because it makes so much sense. Think of it like this: two people in a rowboat, trying to cross a wide lake. If one person rows forward with all their might, but the other rows backward, what happens? They just spin in circles. They might even get frustrated and drift apart. Here's what I found. Relationships are like that boat, but if they both pull together, moving their oars in sync, the boat glides smoothly, taking them far across the water. If you're not rowing in the same direction, you'll feel stuck, or worse, completely separate. When we forget we're a team, the journey becomes much harder. It can feel deeply lonely, even when someone is sitting right next to you. But here's the thing. Understanding this mistake is the first step. It teaches us that true connection isn't just about being in the same place. It's about pulling together, sharing the load, and knowing that your partner's success is your success, and their struggles are also yours. It's about remembering that the strength of two moving as one is far greater than the strength of two pulling apart. Blaming them for everything that goes wrong. Have you ever noticed how easy it is, when something goes wrong, to look for someone else to blame? Maybe the homework didn't get done, or a plan fell apart. In the journey of love and marriage, this can become a quiet, deep mistake. It's like carrying a heavy cloak of disappointment, always ready to throw it over your partner, saying, "This is all your fault." When we always point the finger, it means we're not looking at our own side of the story. It means we're not asking, what part did I play in this? What can I do to make it better? People have thought about this for ages. Ancient thinkers talked about how we are responsible for our choices, even when things are hard. It's a very old idea, this looking inside yourself. Think about a garden. If the flowers aren't blooming, you could just blame the sun for being too hot, or the rain for not falling enough. But a gardener who truly cares will also check the soil, the seeds, and how much they've tended the plants. If you only blame the sun, you might miss that the soil needs nutrients, or the seeds were planted wrong. It's the same in a relationship. If you only see your partner as the problem, you miss all the other things that might be happening, even within yourself. Here's the thing. Love is a shared garden. It asks both people to care for it, to tend to it. When we take back the blame we've given away, when we choose to look inward too, a new path opens up. It's a path of understanding, of shared growth. This quiet shift, from blame to shared responsibility, helps the garden bloom in unexpected ways, even after a long, difficult storm. Not taking responsibility for your part. Have you ever found yourself in a tough spot with someone, maybe a friend or family, and felt like it was all their fault? Or maybe, just a little bit. Have you ever whispered to yourself, "It's them, not me"? Here's the thing about love and marriage, and even just getting along with people. It's almost never just one person's fault when things go wrong. Not taking responsibility for your part means acting like you had no role in a problem. It's like saying, "I did nothing wrong," when deep down, maybe you know you did something, big or small. It's a way of protecting yourself, but it can stop you from fixing what's broken. For a long time, thinkers have talked about something called self-awareness. Thinkers from ancient Greece, like a famous philosopher named Socrates, encouraged people to know thyself. That means really looking at yourself, your actions, and your feelings. It's about being honest with yourself, even when it's hard. It's not a new idea. It's a very old one, about understanding your own place in the world and how your choices make a difference. It's about shining a light on your own reflection. Think about two people trying to build a strong, tall tower together. Each person has a role, adding bricks, making sure things are level and balanced. If the tower starts to lean or even falls, and one person just points at the other, saying, "You messed up your side," well, that's ignoring their own choices. Maybe they didn't put their bricks on straight, or they didn't check their measurements carefully. In relationships, it's like that. Each person contributes to the whole. Each person's actions, even small ones, affect the big picture they are building together. It takes courage to look inwards, to admit, maybe I could have done that differently. But here's what I found. When you do that, it actually makes you stronger. It's not about being weak or admitting you're bad. It's about growing. It means you understand that you have power, the power to change things, the power to learn from mistakes, and that's how relationships, and you as a person, become truly better. It opens the door for real repair, for building something even stronger and more lasting next time. Getting stuck in a routine rut. Have you ever noticed how easy it is for days to just blend into one another? One morning feels much like the next, and suddenly, weeks have passed, and you haven't really done anything different. In love and marriage, this is sometimes called getting stuck in a routine rut. It's not about doing bad things, it's about doing the same things, always. The comfortable becomes too familiar. The spark that once lit everything up starts to dim, not because of anger or sadness, but because of sameness. It's like listening to your favorite song on repeat until it loses its magic. For thousands of years, people have thought about this feeling. Ancient thinkers might say we're drawn to both the familiar and the fresh. We like knowing what's next, but our spirits also crave newness. When there's no newness, even the good things can feel flat. Think about your favorite video game. When you first start playing, everything is new and exciting. You learn new moves, explore new worlds. But imagine playing the same level, the exact same way, every single day for a year. No new challenges, no new surprises. Even if it was your favorite, it would eventually feel empty. That's a little like a routine rut in a relationship. The love is still there, but the adventure, the discovery, fades away. So here's the thing. Life, like love, needs seasons. It needs moments of quiet comfort, yes, but also moments of fresh air. It's a gentle reminder that even the most beautiful gardens need new seeds planted now and then. We learn that paying attention to the small, everyday choices can keep the path from becoming too worn, and the journey together from feeling like a loop. Not planning fun surprises anymore. Have you ever thought about what makes life feel truly alive? It's often the small surprises, isn't it? Like finding a note or someone remembering your favorite candy. In love, it's very similar. One quiet mistake people make is forgetting to bring those unexpected moments of joy. When you first know someone, every discovery feels new. You learn what makes them laugh. You want to make them smile, so you plan little surprises. But over time, as life gets busy and routines set in, those thoughtful gestures can just fade away. It's not on purpose, but it happens. Think about our brains. They're wired to notice new things. We get a good feeling when something unexpected happens. It's like looking at pictures. If every picture was the same, you wouldn't even see them anymore. Historically, people have always marked time with special, unique events to break the routine and bring newness. When we stop planning surprises for the people we love, love doesn't vanish. But it's like a garden that stops getting unexpected. Splashes of color. It still grows, but it might just be green. A tiny bouquet, a sudden note, a favorite snack hidden for them. These are the little bursts of color. They show you're still thinking about them, still truly caring. The lesson here is quiet. Small, planned moments of delight keep a relationship fresh and cared for. Choose to add a sprinkle of unexpected joy. Those are often the moments we remember. They help love feel endlessly wonderful. Waiting for them to always make the first move. Have you ever wondered what it's like to always be the one waiting? Like standing by a closed door, hoping someone else will open it for you. Here's the thing about love and friendship. It's easy to fall into a pattern where one person always reaches out, one person always plans the fun, one person always says, "I'm sorry" first. It's like waiting for them to text you, to call you, to ask you how your day was. We might think, if they really cared, they'd make the effort. But what if they're thinking the same thing? For a long time, people believed certain roles were fixed, like one person always being expected to start things. But life isn't a play with set parts anymore. Relationships are like a dance where both partners need to move. If only one person ever leads, or only one person ever follows, the dance stops. It's about shared effort, not just one person doing all the work. It's about both people stepping forward. Think about a plant. If it only waits for the rain, it might dry up. But if you also make sure it gets sunlight and give it a drink, it thrives. Or, think of a team sport. If only one player ever brings the ball down the court or shoots, the game wouldn't be fun or fair. For a team to work, everyone has to pass and dribble. Relationships are like that. Both people need to pass the ball around, to put in the effort. It's a quiet understanding. True connection isn't a one-way street. It's a path built by two people, step by step. When we learn to take our own steps, to reach out, we don't just help the relationship, we also find our own strength. We learn that our voice matters, and our desires are worth expressing. It's about sharing the beautiful work of building something together, not just wishing for it to appear. Giving up when things get hard. Have you ever started something, really excited about it, and then it got tough? Maybe it was a new hobby, a difficult school project, or learning a new skill. You hit a wall, and suddenly, walking away felt so tempting. Here's the thing, in love and marriage, it's a big mistake to give up too quickly. No relationship is a smooth, easy road. There will be bumps, disagreements, and unexpected challenges like stress or family issues. Think about building a strong old bridge. From ancient times, people knew lasting structures weren't built on easy ground. They had to withstand storms and time. Builders understood real strength comes from facing pressure, not avoiding it. The same is true for human connections. Our ancestors often spoke of grit, sticking with something even when uncomfortable. It's not just about romantic feelings. It's about choosing to build, day after day. Imagine tending a garden. Some days, the sun shines, and everything grows easily. Other days, there's a drought, weeds take over, or a storm hits. You wouldn't abandon your garden then, would you? You'd water it, pull the weeds, or protect the plants. You'd do the work, because you value the beauty it can bring. Love and marriage are a bit like that garden. They need constant care, especially when the weather turns rough. When people give up too soon, they miss out on making something truly beautiful and strong. They lose the chance to grow with another person, to learn how to fix things together, and to see how much deeper love can become when it weathers a storm. Real connection isn't about avoiding challenges, but about facing them, hand in hand. It's about building a story of shared strength, not learning from past arguments. Have you ever noticed how some arguments feel like echoes? Like you've had this exact same fight before, maybe even said the same words. This is one of the quiet, tricky mistakes in love and marriage, repeating arguments without truly learning. It's not about winning or losing, but understanding what's underneath the anger or hurt. When the same issue pops up again, it's a sign the real problem hasn't been heard or fixed. Ancient thinkers knew this feeling. They talked about how history often repeats itself, not because people are foolish, but because they forget to grasp past lessons. It's like a whisper from the past, trying to tell us something important. In our own relationships, if we don't remember the pain of yesterday's disagreement, we might just step into the same puddle tomorrow. It's about building a memory, not just of words, but of how it felt, and what needed to change. Think of it like this. Your phone charger, always, breaks in the same spot. You buy a new one, but still yank it out roughly. Soon, the new one breaks the exact same way. The problem isn't just the charger, it's how you handle it. In relationships, if an argument is about, say, feeling unheard, and you just smooth it over without finding new ways to listen, that feeling will come back. It's like an alarm bell ringing, trying to get your attention. It's asking you to find a different path, a kinder way to connect. So, here's what matters. Learning from arguments isn't about blaming, it's about slowing down. It's about asking ourselves, what was this argument truly about? What did I need? What did the other person need? And how can we try something different next time? It takes courage to look closely at past pains, but that's where true growth begins. It's how we move from simply arguing to truly understanding, building something stronger, piece by gentle piece. Bringing up old wounds to win a fight. Have you ever been in an argument, and suddenly, someone brings up something that happened a long time ago, something painful that was supposed to be over? This is what we call bringing up old wounds. It's like reaching back into time, grabbing a past hurt, and throwing it into the middle of a new disagreement. The current fight suddenly shifts focus, becoming about something else entirely. It's a way to win, not by solving the problem, but by making the other person feel bad for something already past. People have used this tactic for centuries, in all sorts of disagreements, not just in love. It comes from an old human urge to gain an advantage, a quick power. But here's the problem. It rarely works for good. Instead of building, it burns. It's an old habit that tries to win a moment, but often loses much more in the long run. Think of a relationship like a garden. When tough times hit, like a harsh storm, it leaves some broken branches. With care and time, those branches heal, new leaves grow, and the garden recovers. But imagine, during a new argument, someone purposefully goes back and snaps those branches, again, bringing back all the old damage. It doesn't make the new argument better. It just ringes the garden, making it harder for new, good things to grow. This act, though it feels like victory in a heated moment, plants seeds of mistrust. It whispers, "What we forgive today, I might use against you tomorrow." And that's why it matters. Choosing not to bring up old wounds means choosing healing over hurting, understanding over winning. It builds a strong, safe space where love can thrive, even when storms come. Not really trusting their good intentions. Have you ever looked at someone, perhaps a friend or a family member, and even when they're being kind, a little thought creeps in, a whisper that wonders, are they really trying to help me, or do they want something in return? This is what it means not to truly trust someone's good intentions. It's like putting up a clear, invisible wall between you and their honest efforts. Sometimes, we get stuck seeing everyone's actions through a cloudy lens. We start to search for hidden motives, even when none are there. It's an old question, really. For a long time, people have wondered if humans are truly kind, or if we always have a selfish reason hidden somewhere. This deep doubt, this idea that everyone has a secret agenda, can become a habit, a way of protecting yourself. It can feel safer to suspect than to simply accept. Imagine this: your classmate offers to share their lunch with you, because you forgot yours at home. Instead of just feeling thankful, a tiny voice in your head asks, why are they being so nice? Do they want me to owe them something? Are they trying to make me look bad? You might even start looking for clues to prove your suspicion. This is a bit like when a scientist has a guess about something, and they only look for facts that confirm their guess, sometimes ignoring everything else. In psychology, our brains can do this too, looking for what they expect to find. But here's the thing: when we always suspect the worst, we close ourselves off. We might miss out on real kindness, on true connection. It's hard to build deep relationships when you're always guarding your heart, always searching for a trick. In time, this wall we build, believing others aren't really good, can leave us feeling very alone. What if we just chose to believe in kindness, to simply allow others to be good, and to trust that open hand reaching out, to let go of the shadow, and step into the light of simple, honest goodwill? Imagine the peace that could bring. Being overly needy for attention. Have you ever felt like you just needed someone to notice you, really notice you? Like a plant turning towards the sun, desperate for its warmth. That feeling, when it gets too strong, can become being overly needy for attention. It's like always needing someone else to fill your cup, instead of finding ways to fill it yourself. You might constantly ask for praise, or get upset if you're not the very center of a friend's world. This isn't just wanting to be seen. It's needing it so much that it can gently push others away. Think about this. For a long time, people have talked about self-worth. Ancient thinkers wondered what truly makes a person feel good about themselves. They weren't just talking about fame or popularity. They believed real strength came from within. It came from knowing who you are and liking that person, even when no one else is watching. If your self-worth depends completely on how much attention you get, it's like building a house on sand. It can crumble when the tide goes out. Imagine a video game where your character needs a constant supply of energy drinks to keep going. If you don't find those drinks, your character just stops. That's a bit like someone who is overly needy for attention. They rely on other people's praise or presence as their energy. But what happens if the supply runs out, or if people giving praise are busy? The character freezes. Healthy friendships are more like two people charging their own batteries, then sharing that energy. If one person's battery is always empty, constantly plugging into the other person, it can slowly drain everyone. So, instead of always looking outward for someone to shine a light on you, maybe the real power lies in learning to glow from within. It's a quiet kind of strength. It means you understand your own value, independent of who sees it or praises it. This lets your relationships be about shared light, not just one person trying to soak up all of another's. And that builds connections that are truly bright and lasting. Being too independent, too far apart. Have you ever thought about how two streams, flowing side by side, might never become a big river if they never join? In life, especially in love, people sometimes become like those streams. They live close, maybe even in the same house, but they slowly drift apart inside. Being independent is good. It means you can stand up for yourself and have your own thoughts. but sometimes independent can start to feel like alone. It's when partners stop sharing their daily joys and worries, when their lives become separate paths that don't quite meet. They might eat dinner together, but their minds are miles away, stuck in their own thoughts. Think about people long ago. They often found comfort and strength in groups, in families, in communities. Sharing life with someone isn't new. It's part of our human story. Even wise thinkers from ancient times talked about how we are social animals. This means we do best when we're part of something bigger. True strength often comes from leaning on each other, not just standing alone. Here's an example. Imagine two gears inside a watch. Each gear is strong on its own, perfectly made to do its job. But if they don't connect and turn together, the watch won't work. Time stops. Their individual strength doesn't matter if they aren't working as one team. In a relationship, it's like that. Each person needs their own space, sure. But the magic, the way things move forward, happens when those strengths connect, when you share your life's journey. So, here's the thing. Love isn't just about sharing a name or a house. It's about sharing a path. It's about choosing to walk together, to weave your stories into one. It's a quiet promise to keep reaching across the space between you, even when life tries to pull you apart. The greatest strength isn't found in standing completely alone, but in the peaceful, strong feeling of belonging to each other. Forgetting to dream together. Big dreams. Have you ever thought about what makes two people truly walk forward together, side by side, even through long journeys? It's more than just sharing a home or a laugh. Sometimes, a big mistake in love is forgetting to dream together. Really big dreams. It's easy to get caught up in daily life. There are chores, homework, friends, and plans for the weekend. But what about the bigger picture? What about the hopes and dreams that stretch far into the future, like faraway mountains you both want to climb? When couples stop talking about these big, exciting possibilities for their lives together, something important quietly fades. Think about people throughout history. Humans have always been dreamers. Ancient civilizations built incredible structures, like the pyramids or grand cathedrals, knowing they might not live to see them finished. They were fueled by a shared vision, a dream that was bigger than any one person. That shared purpose gave them a reason to keep building, brick by brick, generation after generation. In a way, a strong relationship needs that same kind of grand, shared architecture. Here's the thing. Imagine you and a friend are planning to build the most amazing treehouse ever. You both gather materials, draw plans, and talk for hours about how many levels it will have, what secret passages it might contain, and what view you'll get from the top. That shared excitement, that vision, keeps you working together. But if one of you stops thinking about the treehouse and starts building a go-kart instead, the treehouse project will just sit unfinished, forgotten. So, when partners stop dreaming together, when they stop talking about their shared future, not just dinner tonight, but the kind of life they want to create years from now, the project of their shared life can lose its magic. It becomes less about building something wonderful and more about just existing. Remembering to dream together, with big, bold ideas, keeps the light on their path, reminding them they're still building something beautiful together. Not valuing their thoughts and ideas. What happens when someone speaks, but their words seem to float away, unheard? It's like they've tossed a stone into a deep well, but there's no splash, no echo, just silence. This is what it feels like when we don't truly value someone's thoughts and ideas. It's not just about disagreeing with them, which is natural. It's about dismissing their point of view entirely, making them feel like their inner world, their mind, simply doesn't matter. Here's the thing, everyone has a unique way of seeing the world. For thousands of years, people have known that sharing ideas helps us grow. Old philosophers, and people just sitting around campfires long ago, knew that true wisdom often comes from listening to different views. They believed that when you truly listen, you are seeing the whole person. You are respecting their dignity, their very existence. Think about working on a group project at school. Imagine one person always talks over others, or acts like their ideas are the only good ones. How does that make everyone else feel? Like their brain isn't needed, like they're just an extra body taking up space. That's what happens in bigger relationships when thoughts are ignored. When you shut down someone's ideas, you're not just quietening a voice, you're dimming a light inside them, and this is why it matters. When we truly value someone's thoughts, we're building a strong bridge of understanding. It's like each person brings a unique color to a painting. If you only use one color, the picture is flat. But when all colors are honored, something beautiful and deep can emerge. It teaches us that true connection isn't just about sharing space, but sharing minds, honoring the unique light inside each person's thoughts, letting resentment silently build up. Have you ever felt a small unfairness, a tiny sting, but kept it locked away inside you? Maybe someone said something thoughtless, or did something that felt unkind, and you just didn't say anything. That small sting, if it happens again and again, without being talked about, can slowly, silently grow. It's like a seed planted in the dark, watered by silence. We call this resentment. It's a quiet anger, a bitterness that sits deep inside, hidden from the world, and sometimes, even from ourselves. Think about old stories, and the wisdom passed down through time, even from ancient days. Many cultures understood that unspoken feelings could become heavy burdens. There's a powerful idea in many philosophies: what you don't say, you carry. For centuries, thinkers have suggested that secrets, especially painful ones, can eat away at a person or slowly damage connections between people. It's about the weight of what's left unsaid. Here's an example. Imagine a tiny, barely noticeable crack in a window pane. At first, it's nothing. You might not even see it. But if you ignore it, if you don't fix it, over time, with changes in temperature or a little bump, that tiny crack can spread. Soon, the whole window might become cloudy, weak, and then, sometimes, shatter. Resentment works like that. One tiny hurt, then another, unaddressed. It builds up, layer by quiet layer, until the very clear glass of connection becomes cloudy, then fragile, and sometimes just breaks apart. This teaches us a deep truth. Silence isn't always golden. Sometimes, it's a heavy cloak that hides growing pains. It means we have to find the quiet courage to speak our truth, even when it feels small, before it grows too big to hold. Because a shared whisper, spoken with kindness, is always lighter than a silent shout. Neglecting physical touch and affection. Have you ever stopped to think about how much we say without using any words at all? Sometimes, the most powerful messages pass between people not through talking, but through touch. Here's the thing: neglecting physical touch and affection can be one of the quietest, yet deepest mistakes people make in love. It's not just about big romantic gestures. We're talking about the everyday acts: a hand held, a comforting hug, a gentle pat on the back, or just sitting close enough that your shoulders touch. These small moments are like tiny, invisible threads that weave people together, creating a sense of safety and belonging. When these simple touches start to disappear, a subtle distance can begin to grow, almost without anyone noticing. For a very long time, humans have understood this. Even ancient wisdom tells us that touch is a basic need, like food or water. Scientists have even shown us how vital touch is for our minds and bodies to grow strong and feel good. It's a language understood by everyone, no matter where they're from. Think about a little kitten, purring and rubbing against your leg, or a puppy snuggling close. They crave that physical connection. It makes them feel secure and loved. It's the same for us. Imagine you're feeling sad, and someone just gently puts a hand on your arm. That simple gesture can make you feel less alone, right? It's like a warm blanket for your feelings. Just as a plant needs sunlight and water to truly thrive and grow, a relationship needs these small, consistent touches to stay warm and alive. Without them, it can feel a little bit empty, even if everything else seems okay. So, it's not just about grand displays of love. It's in the quiet way we reach out, in the soft brush of a hand, or the warmth of a hug. These are the ways we remind each other, gently and without words, that we are truly seen, valued, and connected. And that's why it matters. Not apologizing genuinely, from the heart. Have you ever said "I'm sorry," but felt like the words just hung in the air, empty? Or maybe someone said it to you, and it didn't really land. Here's the thing: an apology isn't just about saying the words, it's about what's behind them. It's about the heart. A real apology carries a quiet weight, a gentle hum of understanding. A fake one feels light, like a whisper the wind carries away. Imagine a truly honest "I'm sorry." It's like opening a window in a stuffy room, letting in fresh, clean air. But a fake apology, that's like just painting over a problem without actually cleaning it. It doesn't truly fix anything. For a very long time, in history and in many old stories, people understood that forgiveness wasn't granted just by magic words. To truly make amends, people had to show they understood the hurt they caused. They had to feel it deep inside, not just speak words. Think about a plant you're trying to water. If you just sprinkle a few drops on the leaves, the plant might look a bit wet, but its roots are still dry. It won't really grow or heal. But if you pour water directly at the base, slowly, letting it soak deep into the soil, the plant gets what it truly needs. That's exactly how a real apology works. It goes deep. It reaches the part of the other person that was hurt, not just their ears, but their feelings. When we don't apologize genuinely, we leave a small, invisible crack in the glass of trust between people. It might not shatter, but that tiny crack is always there. It weakens things. But when we offer a sorry that comes from a place of true understanding, a place that feels the weight of our actions and the pain we caused, we aren't just saying words, we are offering a part of ourselves, our true feelings. We are quietly saying, I see your pain, and I truly regret my part in it. And that's why it matters so much. It helps heal the space between people, allowing trust to slowly, gently, begin to grow again, like a sturdy new vine. It's a quiet promise to try and do better next time. Thinking you can change them later. On have you ever picked something you really liked, but wished one small thing about it was different? Sometimes, people think this about others they love. They see someone wonderful, but a quiet hope whispers, I can change them. Later, they'll be exactly what I need. This idea isn't new. For ages, people have imagined what others could be. Think of old stories where people tried to mold others. Philosophers teach us that our habits and beliefs are deeply set, like the strong roots of a big tree. You can't turn an oak tree into a different kind of tree just by wishing. Its shape is already decided. Here's the thing, when you plant a sunflower seed, you expect a sunflower. You don't get upset when it doesn't grow into a daisy. It's the same with people. Everyone grows in their own unique way. You might try to change them, hoping they'll blossom into something else. But true, lasting change, the kind that reshapes someone deep down, usually comes from inside. It's their own journey, not a project for someone else. So, when we choose to be close to someone, it's important to see the person truly there, right now, not a future version that lives only in our hopes. It's about honoring who they are, with all their quirks. Real love means accepting the sunflower as it is, and finding its beauty just like that. It's a calm understanding that everyone is complete in their own way, and our job is simply to love that truth. Not seeing them for who they are today. Have you ever thought about how we look at the people closest to us? Sometimes, we see them through a kind of old lens. We might remember them from a long time ago, maybe how they acted in elementary school, or what they cared about last year. But here's the thing, people change, they grow. Every single day, they are a little different. It's like trying to navigate a new city with an old map. That map was useful once, but the streets have changed, new buildings have popped up, and some old ones are gone. If you keep looking at the old map, you'll get lost. You won't see the city as it is now, vibrant and alive. Wise thinkers from long ago often talked about how nothing stays the same. They believed change is the only constant thing. Think about a river. You can never step into the exact same river twice. The water is always flowing, always new. People are like that river. Their thoughts, their feelings, their dreams, they are always moving, always changing. When we don't see someone for who they are today, we might miss out on their new ideas, their fresh joys, or even their quiet worries. It's like loving the ghost of who they used to be, instead of embracing the real, breathing person standing right in front of us. We project our old memories onto them, and sometimes, those memories block us from truly connecting. Imagine you have a plant. When it was a tiny sprout, you loved its small green leaves. But what if you kept expecting it to stay a sprout forever? You'd miss the beauty of it growing taller, forming new branches, maybe even blooming with flowers. You'd miss its full story. So, here's what matters, learning to truly see. It means looking with fresh eyes every day, allowing people to unfold their new selves before you. It's a journey of continuous discovery, and that's why it matters so much in love and friendship. When we truly see someone for who they are right now, we give them the space to be real. We build a connection that is strong and alive, based on today, not just yesterday. It helps us grow together, not apart. Believing love fixes everything instantly believing. Love fixes everything instantly Have you ever wondered if love is like a magic potion, a powerful spell that can fix anything instantly? We often see stories where a single kiss or a grand gesture suddenly erases all sadness, heals all wounds, and makes everything perfect forever. It's a beautiful thought, isn't it? That just loving someone, truly and deeply, can make every difficulty disappear in a puff of smoke. For centuries, many tales have whispered this idea into our hearts. Think about old myths, or even classic fairy tales, where happily ever after arrives not from hard work and conversation, but from a sudden burst of pure feeling. This teaches us, without meaning to, that love is a simple cure for complex problems. But here's the thing, real life, and real love, is more like a garden. You don't just sprinkle a bit of water on a dying plant and expect it to bloom instantly into full health. A garden needs ongoing care. It needs sunlight, good soil, consistent watering, and sometimes you have to pull out weeds. Love works like that. It's a wonderful, strong force, like sunshine, but even the sun can't grow a garden alone. If a seed is planted in rocky ground, or left untended, it won't thrive, even with sunshine. Love can inspire us to be better, to try harder, and to forgive, but it doesn't magically mend a broken trust or erase big misunderstandings. Those things need time, honest talks, and effort from everyone. It's about tending to something precious, day after day, not just wishing it well. Love is a strong start, but the building needs to be built, brick by brick, with care. This means patience, and working through the messy parts together. It means understanding that true love isn't about instant fixes, but about steady growth and choosing each other, even when things are difficult. Not having shared goals or directions. Have you ever thought about two people walking together, hand in hand, but looking at completely different horizons? Imagine that. One dreams of a quiet life by the sea, the other pictures a bustling city. What happens then? This idea, not having shared goals, is like a quiet drifting in love. It means to people, even if they care, aren't aiming for the same future. Maybe one wants to travel the world, the other wants to stay home. It's not about every small detail, but the big picture. The main path to walk together. Think about ancient explorers or families building homes. They had a clear destination or a shared blueprint. Communities worked together, each person knowing their part in the larger structure. This idea of moving toward a shared purpose has always been part of human life. From early people gathering food to families creating traditions, a common direction gave meaning. It was about building a life, not just surviving. It's a bit like two ships leaving the same harbor. One sets its course north, chasing new lands. The other turns south, seeking warm, calm waters. For a while, they might see each other, but slowly, steadily, the distance grows. Their paths diverge. There's no single right direction, just different ones. And that's why it matters in relationships. When you don't look in the same general direction, even with different steps, a quiet loneliness can settle in. It's a sadness of heading separate ways, often not realized until you're far apart. So, the lesson is simple. The most important journey is often the one you plan together, even if it's just a whisper of a dream. Letting fear stop you from being real. Have you ever felt like you had to shrink a part of yourself? Like there was something you held close, not because it was bad, but because you worried what others might think if they saw it? In love and marriage, one of the biggest mistakes we can make is letting this fear win. We might worry we aren't smart enough, or strong enough, or pretty enough. So, we put on a kind of mask, hoping to be liked or loved, not for who we truly are, but for the person we think others want to see. Thinkers for centuries have talked about this. They understood that hiding our true selves, even from ourselves, keeps us from growing. The ancient Greek philosopher Socrates believed knowing yourself was the most important thing. If we don't truly know who we are, or if we pretend to be someone else, how can anyone truly know or love us? It's like a tiny seed, full of amazing potential, that's too afraid to push through the soil. It stays hidden, safe perhaps, but it never sees the sun or becomes the strong, beautiful plant it was meant to be. Imagine trying to build a grand old tree, but instead of letting its roots spread deep and its branches reach wide, you keep trimming it, trying to make it fit into a tiny box. You do this because you're scared someone won't like its natural shape. Over time, that tree won't be healthy or real. It will be stunted. The same can happen to us. If we constantly adjust who we are to avoid judgment or rejection, we never truly blossom. We build walls around our hearts instead of opening them. And genuine connection, the kind that feels like home, can only grow in the open air, where it's safe to be fully, wonderfully, you. So, maybe the bravest thing we can do is simply be ourselves, letting our true light shine. Being too proud to say you're wrong. Have you ever felt that tight knot in your stomach? That feeling when you know deep down you messed up, but saying the words, "I was wrong," just feels impossible. It's like your tongue gets stuck. It feels like admitting defeat, like you're shrinking somehow. But here's the thing. In love and marriage, this pride, this stubborn refusal to admit a mistake, can be a quiet poison. It's about needing to be right more than you need to be close. Imagine an old bridge, strong and solid. When a part of it cracks, what happens? If the engineers are too proud to admit there's a problem, too busy saying, "No, it's perfect," that small crack will grow. Eventually, the bridge might fall apart. Our relationships are a lot like that bridge. Little mistakes, small hurts, they're like tiny cracks. For centuries, wise people, from ancient philosophers to everyday grandmas, have taught that true strength isn't about never making a mistake. It's about being brave enough to own up to it when you do. They knew that humility, that quiet understanding that you're not perfect and that's okay, is a superpower. It's not about being weak. It's about being honest and caring enough to put the relationship first. Think of it like two friends building a tall block tower. One accidentally knocks a few blocks over. If they just stare at the mess or blame the other person, the tower won't get rebuilt. But if they simply say, "Oops, my bad, let's fix it," the building can start again. That small admission clears the air. It shows respect. It says, we're a team, and fixing things together is more important than whose fault it was. So, when we finally find the courage to say those simple words, "I was wrong," it's not a defeat. It's actually a quiet victory. It's a gentle way of saying, "You matter more to me than my pride." And that's a powerful step toward a deeper, truer connection. It's how healing begins. Not talking about money. Honestly, have you ever thought about how secrets, even small ones, can feel heavy, especially when they're about something as everyday as money? Here's the thing. In a deep relationship, money isn't just about bills or what you can buy. It's often tangled up with our hopes, our biggest fears, and what makes us feel safe. When people aren't honest about money, they're hiding a part of their true self, a part of their worries or dreams. This can make a relationship feel shaky, like walking on thin ice across a frozen pond. Think about it like this. Since humans first started trading things, maybe a basket of berries for a piece of wood, trust has been the real currency. If someone lied about the berries, trust broke down. Even today, our feelings about money are often deeply connected to how safe we feel, how much control we have, and what we imagine for our future. So, when someone keeps money, worries, or spending habits a secret from their partner, it's not just about the numbers. It's like saying, "I can't trust you with this part of my life, or with who I really am." Imagine two people planning a long road trip together. They share a car, a map, and a goal. Now, what if one person secretly started siphoning gas out of the tank for their own hidden plans, or filled it with the wrong type of fuel, but never told the other? The car might run for a while, but eventually it would sputter and stop, or even break down entirely. The journey would be ruined, not just by the lack of gas, but by the broken trust. Money secrets in a relationship are a bit like that. They might not cause a crash right away, but they slowly drain the trust and shared purpose, making the whole journey together unsure. So, talking about money isn't really just about what's in a bank account. It's about building a strong bridge of trust, about truly seeing and understanding each other's hopes and fears. It's about sharing the weight and the dreams together, instead of carrying them alone. Because love, in its deepest sense, is about honesty, even when it's uncomfortable. And that's why it matters. Getting annoyed by their small habits. Have you ever noticed how the smallest, quietest things can sometimes become the loudest? Imagine a tiny stone, no bigger than a grain of sand, stuck inside your shoe. At first, you might not even feel it, but as you walk, step after step, that tiny speck starts to rub. It digs in. What began as nothing becomes a constant, grating irritation. This is often what happens in love and marriage when it comes to the small habits of another person. It's not about the big fights or the huge disagreements. It's about the toothpaste cap left off, the dishes left by the sink, the endless tapping of a pen during a quiet moment. These aren't huge wrongs. In fact, many people have little quirks. But when you live close to someone, sharing space and time, these tiny actions can start to feel like that grain of sand. Through history, wise thinkers have talked about how our own minds can turn small things into big problems. They knew that sometimes it's not the thing itself that bothers us, but how much we let it get to us. It's about our own focus. Think of it like a magnifying glass. A tiny imperfection on a beautiful painting can become a giant flaw if you hold the glass too close and focus only on that one spot. The painting is still lovely, but your attention is locked onto the flaw. So, here's the thing. Those small habits, though they might rub at your patience, are often just a part of who someone is. They're like background noise in a busy room. We can choose to zero in on every tiny sound, or we can choose to hear the music that's also playing. True connection often means learning to soften the magnifying glass, to see the whole person, and to understand that perfect harmony isn't built on the absence of tiny flaws, but on the acceptance of them. It's a quiet strength, this choice to let the small things pass, to focus instead on the vast, deep landscape of a shared life. Not listening to their deepest fears. Have you ever felt a small, quiet worry buzz inside you? A fear you didn't quite tell anyone? What happens when someone you care about carries one of these hidden worries, a fear they might not even say out loud? Here's the thing. Sometimes, the biggest mistakes in love come not from big arguments, but from not hearing the softest whispers of another's heart. These aren't always loud, dramatic fears. They can be quiet anxieties about not being good enough, or being left alone, or failing at something important. Long ago, wise thinkers understood that truly knowing someone meant looking past their surface, into their quiet heart. They knew that people carry unseen burdens, like an iceberg with most of its mass hidden beneath the water. What we see above the surface is just a small part of their story. Imagine your friend loves to draw, but deep down, they're terrified their art isn't good enough. You might tell them, "Your drawings are amazing," and that's kind, but if you don't notice the way they hesitate before showing their work, or how they quickly put it away, you might miss their deeper fear of judgment. Listening to that deeper fear would mean asking, "What worries you about your art?" or offering to just look at it together. No pressure. It's like a plant that needs certain soil and just the right amount of light to truly grow. If you don't pay attention to those quiet needs, it might never bloom fully. When we ignore these hidden fears, even without meaning to, we miss a chance to connect on a deeper level. We might try to fix problems without understanding the root. But here's what happens when we do listen. We build a bridge of trust. We show them that all parts of them, even the scared parts, are welcome and safe with us. It's about seeing the whole person, not just the brave face they show the world. And that's why it matters, because true love doesn't just celebrate strengths, it gently holds fears too. Avoiding tough talks about the future. Have you ever noticed how the hardest things to talk about are often the ones that matter most? The quiet thoughts about what might happen next, where life is heading. When we don't speak these aloud with someone we care deeply about, especially in love, it's like sailing a ship without a compass. We'll just drift, never knowing if we're truly going anywhere together. People have always known the importance of looking ahead. Ancient thinkers spoke of facing reality, even when it's uncomfortable. They knew truth, however difficult, builds a stronger foundation. Think of old stories where characters made big life decisions. Wise elders urged them to speak openly about hopes and fears. Unspoken thoughts, they knew, often cause bigger problems later, like a tiny crack growing into a huge break. Here's the thing. Avoiding these talks is like planting a tree but never planning for its soil or future water needs. The tree might look okay for a while, but if you don't think about its roots, it might not grow strong or survive tough seasons. Relationships are like that tree. Discussions about dreams, jobs, where to live, or even daily routines, years from now, these are the watering and sunlight for the relationship's roots. So, choosing to talk about tough things isn't a sign of trouble, it's actually a sign of deep love and courage. It means you value the other person and the journey you share. It's a quiet, brave act of building a future together, step by honest step, not showing appreciation for their effort. Imagine a quiet morning, Someone you care about wakes early just to make you breakfast. They cooked your favorite things, cleaned up the kitchen, maybe even picked a small flower for the table. But you just ate, said nothing, and walked away to start your day. How would that make them feel? This is about one of the quiet heartbreaks in relationships, not showing appreciation for the effort others make. For centuries, thinkers have talked about gratitude. Ancient philosophers believed showing thanks was a key to a good life. It's not just about saying thank you for a gift. It's about seeing the invisible work behind something. It's about recognizing the thought, the time, the energy someone poured into something, big or small, just for you or for the shared good. Think of a garden, not just the beautiful flowers you see, but the soil, the roots. A gardener spends hours preparing the ground, planting seeds, watering, pulling weeds. They work in the sun and rain, sometimes even when they're tired. If you only admired the flowers without ever seeing the gardener's tired hands, what message would that send? The flowers are the result, but the effort is the unseen force that brings them to life. Ignoring the effort is like saying the garden just magically appeared, with no one behind its beauty. Here's the thing, human beings are not machines. We thrive on being seen and valued. When we put effort into something, especially for someone we care about, a part of our heart goes into it. When that effort isn't noticed or appreciated, it can feel like that piece of heart was thrown away. Over time, this quiet neglect can build up. It can make someone stop trying, stop giving, stop caring in the same way. So, remember to look beyond the surface, see the hands that worked, the mind that planned, the heart that cared. A simple, "I noticed you did that," or "thanks for your hard work," can be a bridge. It tells someone, you matter, your effort matters, and I see you. Letting misunderstandings fester. Have you ever seen a tiny crack in a sidewalk? At first, it's nothing, but with time and weather, it grows into a big mess. This is like misunderstandings festering in relationships. Sometimes, unclear moments happen. Maybe you heard something one way, but someone else meant it differently, or you assumed something. These are tiny seeds of confusion. If you don't talk about them, if you don't ask for clarity, they can grow. Old wisdom teaches words have power. Not speaking clearly, or not asking, causes trouble. It's like a tangled thread. If you don't untangle it, the knot gets tighter, harder to undo. Here's an example. Think about a metal fence. A tiny spot of rust appears. It looks harmless, but if you ignore that rust, it won't stay small. It slowly eats away at the metal, spreading. It weakens the whole fence. That ignored spot becomes a big problem. Misunderstandings work like this. In friendships or families, a small confusion about a chore or a comment feels minor. But if you let it sit, unaddressed, it eats at trust. It leads to resentment. You feel annoyed without knowing why. The problem isn't the misunderstanding. It's the silence, the refusal to clear it. So, here's the thing. When you feel that little tug of confusion, that sense something isn't right, that's your signal. Speak up. Ask a question. What did you mean? Or, did I get that wrong? Clarifying saves trouble. It keeps understanding clear and strong, like a well-cared-for fence that helps connections last. Not having each other's backs. Always. Have you ever wondered what makes a bond truly strong? Not just between friends, but in a deeper way, like in a family or a partnership. One big mistake people make is not always having each other's backs. This means not standing up for someone, not supporting them, or not protecting them when they need it most. It's like being in a team where sometimes people forget they're on the same side. Think about it like this. Since ancient times, humans have survived because we learned to stick together. Early tribes knew that if one person was struggling, everyone helped. It wasn't just about fighting enemies. It was about trusting that your family or friend would be there for you, no matter what. This idea, this deep trust and loyalty, is something philosophers have thought about for ages. They understood that true connection needs a constant promise to support each other, silently or out loud. Here's an everyday example. Imagine you're on a school project with a partner. You both have parts to do. If your partner gets stuck, or if someone else tries to unfairly criticize their work, having their back means you step in to help, offer ideas, or defend them. It means you are their safety net. When you don't do that, when you let them face things alone, it's like pulling a thread from a strong cloth. One thread might not seem like much, but over time, if more threads are pulled, the whole cloth starts to to unravel, and that's why it matters so much in love and marriage. Each small moment of not having someone's back chips away at the feeling of safety. The sense of being truly alone can creep in, even when someone is right there beside you. It's about building a shared world where both people feel completely safe and understood, knowing someone is always in their corner. It's a quiet promise, a gentle strength that keeps two paths walking forward together. Forgetting to keep dating each other. Have you ever wondered what happens after the grand stories of love, after the happily ever after part? We see movies and books end with someone finding their person, but life keeps going. Here's the thing, finding someone is just the beginning. A big mistake people sometimes make in long relationships, like marriage, is forgetting to keep dating each other. What does keep dating mean when you're already together? It means remembering to choose each other every single day. Long ago, many marriages were about practical things: land, family, safety. Romance was less important. But over time, our idea of love changed. We started hoping for a deep, special connection, a true partnership. This kind of love isn't something you find once and then put on a shelf. It's like a garden dot. Think about a plant you really love. You don't just plant it once and then ignore it, right? You water it, make sure it gets sunlight, maybe give it some plant food now and then. If you stop, what happens? It wilts, it loses its color. Eventually, it might just disappear. It's the same with a relationship. A loving connection needs care, attention, and new experiences. It means setting aside time to talk, to laugh, to try new things together. Maybe it's a shared quiet moment, a funny story about your day, or a walk outside. It's about being curious about the other person, even after years, and finding joy in their company. Just like a good friendship, it needs effort to stay strong and interesting. So the quiet truth is this: love is less like a finish line and more like a path you walk together. Every date, every thoughtful word, every shared smile is a step. That keeps the path beautiful and bright. It's choosing, again and again, to explore the journey with the person next to you. Thinking love is a competition, not a team. Have you ever stopped to wonder why some friendships or partnerships feel like a constant game? Like someone has to win and someone has to lose. It's a strange feeling, isn't it, when the person you care about starts to feel like an opponent. Here's the thing about love, the kind that grows deep and true. It was never meant to be a contest. From ancient times, humans understood that building a life, a family, or even just a community required people to stand together, not against each other. Imagine a team trying to win a soccer game, but instead of passing to each other, each player tries to score against their own teammates. It sounds silly, right? But that's what happens when we see love as a competition. When you're in love, and you start seeing it as a competition, every disagreement becomes a battle to be won. Every small moment feels like a chance to prove you're right, or better, or more important. You might keep score, remember who did what, or who said what last. But love isn't about scoring points. It's about building a shared world. It's about two people standing side by side, facing life's challenges together, like two hands clasping to lift something heavy that neither could move alone. Think about a scientific discovery. The biggest breakthroughs often come from different scientists sharing ideas and helping each other, not hiding their work to be the only one to win a Nobel Prize. It's the combined effort that creates something truly wonderful. So, here's what I found. The deepest peace, the truest joy in love, comes not from being the strongest or the loudest, but from knowing someone has your back, and you have theirs. It's about learning to say, we're in this together, even when things are tough. It's about building a fortress where both people are safe, not a battlefield where one person triumphs over the other. Because in love, when one person wins, the team often loses, and the quiet comfort of a shared journey fades away. The real prize is the journey itself, taken hand in hand. Not building a safe space for honesty. Have you ever had something really important to say, but felt a tight knot in your stomach, like you just couldn't get the words out? Maybe you worried about what would happen if you did speak up. This feeling is at the heart of one of the biggest mistakes people make in love and marriage, not building a safe space for honesty. Here's the thing. Honesty isn't just about telling the truth. It's also about feeling safe enough to tell it. Imagine a quiet, warm room where you know you won't be judged, yelled at, or made to feel silly, no matter what you share. That's a safe space for honesty. When this space isn't there, important thoughts and feelings get bottled up. They become secrets, not because people want to lie, but because they fear the reaction. Ancient philosophers, like those in Greece, often talked about how true friendship and love needed a special kind of trust. They believed you could only be truly honest with people who truly valued you, even your flaws. It's like how a shy animal will only come out of its hiding place if it feels absolutely no threat. If it senses danger, it stays hidden, no matter how much you want to see it. Think about a small, fragile plant. If you want it to grow and bloom, you don't just throw it into any old dirt. You give it good soil, enough water, and just the right amount of sunlight. You protect it from harsh winds and freezing cold. Honesty is a lot like that plant. It needs care and protection to flourish. If every time someone tries to be honest, they're met with anger, blame, or silence, then that honesty, like the plant, will wither. People learn quickly not to speak their minds. This can help you understand why. Over time, a relationship might feel distant. Secrets grow in the dark, but connection needs light. So, when we create that safe space, we're not just allowing honesty, we're inviting all of someone's true self to be present. It's a quiet promise that says, you are safe here, with all your feelings and your truth. And that promise is a truly powerful route for any relationship to grow deep and strong. Allowing outside stress to crush your love. Have you ever noticed how a tiny crack in a window can let in a cold, whistling wind that chills the whole room? Sometimes, our hearts and the love we share can be like that room, and the outside world brings its own harsh winds. This is about allowing stress from beyond our relationship to quietly, slowly, crush the tender feelings inside it. It's not about problems within the love itself, but about the heavy burdens from school, from family, from the future, or even just daily worries that press down until there's no room left for connection. Think of it like this. Your mind has a certain amount of space, a kind of energy. If you fill that space with worries about a big test, or a friendship drama, or what college you'll get into, there's less room, less energy for the person you love. Long ago, thinkers like the Stoics, who lived in ancient Greece and Rome, talked about focusing on what you can control. They understood that external things, like a bad harvest or a tough ruler, could deeply affect people's inner peace. If their inner peace was shaken, their connections with others would suffer too. They knew it took effort to keep the outside world from messing up your inner world. Here's an everyday way to think about it. Imagine a beautiful garden plant, like a sunflower. It needs sun, water, and good soil to grow strong and tall. Now, imagine a huge heavy boulder rolls onto the garden bed, shading the sunflower and pressing down on its roots. The plant isn't unhealthy on its own. It's the weight of the boulder, the outside pressure, that makes it wilt and stop growing. Our love can be that sunflower. The boulder could be the stress of endless homework, or worrying about what others think, or even just feeling overwhelmed by everything happening in the world. So, here's the thing. True strength in love often means finding a way to shield your shared space from those heavy boulders. It's about learning to say, the world can be noisy and hard, but here, with us, we will find quiet. It's a gentle act of protection, understanding that the love between two people is a delicate, precious thing that needs a safe, calm place to grow. Not giving each other grace and patience. Have you ever thought about how much we need a little kindness from others, especially when we mess up? Sometimes, in love and marriage, we forget to give the people we care about the same gentle understanding we hope for ourselves. This is about grace and patience. Grace means giving someone room to be human. It means forgiving small mistakes, not holding every little slip-up against them. It's a quiet gift of acceptance, a soft breath instead of a sharp word. Patience is like the slow, steady rhythm of nature. It's knowing that things take time to grow, to heal, to change. People aren't perfect, and that's okay. They're going to stumble sometimes, just like you do. Wise people across history, in ancient stories and old ways of thinking, often spoke about this very thing. They understood that asking for perfection from someone else is like asking a river to stop flowing. It goes against how life works. Instead, they taught about forbearance, which is a fancy word for holding back your own frustration and offering kindness instead. They knew that real connection isn't about flawless behavior. It's about how we treat each other when things aren't perfect. Think about a small plant you're trying to grow. You don't yell at it if it doesn't sprout overnight, right? You don't get mad if one leaf turns a bit yellow. You give it water, sunlight, and time. You understand it has its own rhythm. And if a strong wind blows a branch, you don't blame the plant. You gently help it recover. That's a lot like how we need to treat each other in relationships. Our partners are growing too, learning, changing. They need that same gentle care, that same space to be imperfect. When we offer grace, we're saying, I see your effort, even if the outcome isn't perfect. When we offer patience, we're saying, I trust our journey, no matter how long it takes. This quiet understanding, this gentle waiting, is what helps love truly take root and bloom, even through life's unexpected storms. It's about remembering that we're all just trying our best, and sometimes, our best needs a little extra kindness. Forgetting the reason you fell in love. Have you ever had a favorite song, one you played on repeat, knowing every single word and feeling every note? And then, after a while, you started to skip it. Not because it was bad, but maybe you just heard it too much. Or perhaps you forgot that rush, that first feeling of discovering it. Here's the thing about love and marriage. It's a bit like that favorite song. When two people first connect, there's a unique spark. It's often about the small things, a laugh, a shared interest, a way someone looks at the world. These tiny, specific details are like the melody and lyrics that first make a song special. They're the why you fell in love. But life gets busy, routines settle in, and slowly, without even noticing, that clear picture of why you chose that person can get blurry. It's not a new problem, by the way. Think about old stories or plays. People have always wondered about love changing over time. It's part of the human journey. The ancients believed love needed constant care, like a garden that needs watering to keep its flowers blooming. They knew that if you stopped noticing the individual petals, the garden could feel ordinary. Imagine you're building a detailed model, like a miniature castle or a robot. At first, you're super excited about every tiny piece, how it fits, what it does. You remember why you wanted to build it in the first place, maybe the cool design or the challenge. But sometimes, when you're halfway through, it feels like just work. You might forget the dream that started it. That's what can happen in relationships. We forget the unique qualities that made us say, this person, this feeling, this connection. We stop seeing the individual pieces that make our loved one so special. So, here's what matters. Remembering to look with fresh eyes. It's about taking a moment to recall the original magic. It's about not letting familiarity dim the light of what was once so clear and bright. Being too serious, not enough playful. Have you ever wondered what happens when joy seems to fade from a loving connection? It's a quiet change, like a favorite song slowly losing its melody, leaving only the rhythm. One common mistake in love and marriage is letting seriousness take over, pushing out the light. Playful moments. Life naturally brings big responsibilities. There are school, chores, future plans. Adults have jobs, bills, and tough decisions. But if a relationship becomes only about these serious things, it can start to feel like a heavy task instead of a happy journey. The laughter, the inside jokes, the silly dances in the kitchen, these fade, and when they do, a vital part of the connection goes with them. Ancient thinkers, people who lived thousands of years ago, understood this idea. They knew that play wasn't just for children. They saw that adults too needed moments of lightness, festivals, and games. It was their way of saying, don't let the burdens of life crush your spirit. For them, play was a necessary balance, a way to keep the soul free and open. They believed that without it, even the strongest bonds could feel strained. Think of it like building a sturdy house. You need strong foundations and solid walls. Absolutely. But what makes it a home? It's the windows that let in the sun, the colors on the walls, the cozy blankets, and the soft places to rest. In a relationship, the serious parts are the foundations and walls, trust, commitment, shared goals. But the playfulness, the fun, those are the windows and colors. They let the light in. Without them, even a strong structure can feel cold and empty. So, here's the thing. Playfulness isn't just about being silly. It's about a shared lightness, a gentle understanding that life can be hard, but it can also be joyful, especially when you face it together. It's a quiet agreement to find smiles even in the everyday. And that, in its own way, is one of the deepest forms of love. It's a soft whisper that says, even when things are tough, we can still laugh. Not communicating your needs clearly. Have you ever felt a quiet ache inside, a longing for something, but couldn't quite put it into words? Or maybe you could, but you held them back, hoping someone would just magically know. It's a common human experience, this silent wish for understanding, this hope that our innermost feelings will be seen without ever being spoken. But here's the thing, when we don't speak our needs clearly, it's like trying to share a vivid dream by just thinking it. The other person, no matter how much they care, simply can't read your mind. They aren't mind readers, and expecting them to be can lead to silent disappointment. This idea that words are essential bridges between people isn't new. For thousands of years, thinkers and storytellers across different cultures have shown us how misunderstandings often bloom from unspoken things. Ancient philosophers, long before our modern ideas of relationships, understood that true connection came from sharing thoughts and desires through language. They knew that human beings needed to use words to build shared understandings, to make sure everyone was on the same page. Without this open flow of communication, confusion settles in, like a thick fog rolling in and hiding the path ahead. Think about a delicate plant in a dry pot. It can't tell you it's thirsty. It just slowly begins to wilt, its leaves drooping, its color fading. You might notice something is wrong, but you might give it sunlight or richer soil, when all it really needed was water. We, as humans, are different. We have a voice. We can say, I need some quiet time to myself today. Or I really need to feel appreciated for helping out. Or I need you to listen right now, not give advice. If you don't voice that you need a specific kind of support, or that a certain action makes you feel loved, how can the other person possibly know? They might try their best, but they could be watering you when you needed sunshine, leaving both feeling unfulfilled. So maybe one of the greatest gifts we can offer in our friendships, our family bonds, and in love, isn't just listening deeply, but also finding the courage to speak our own truths. It's a quiet bravery to say, this is what I need to truly grow and bloom. Because, in that honest, clear sharing, a deeper, stronger connection can unfurl, built on genuine understanding, not just guesswork. And that's how we build something beautiful and lasting together. Letting assumptions rule your mind. Have you ever just known something, deep down, without anyone saying it? Like when you think you know why someone is quiet, or why they did something, even if they haven't told you. That feeling is often an assumption taking hold. In love and friendship, assumptions are quiet guesses we make about what others think, feel, or intend. We build entire stories in our minds based on very little information. And here's the thing, these stories, if left unchecked, can grow into big walls between people. For centuries, thinkers have warned about how easily our minds play tricks on us. Even way back, wise people understood that what we think we know isn't always true. They taught us to question our own thoughts, especially when it comes to understanding others. It's like our brains are very fast storytellers, sometimes making up plots that aren't real, simply because they like to have answers, even if they're wrong. Think about a time you texted a friend, and they didn't reply right away. Your mind might instantly jump to conclusions. Oh, they're mad at me, or they're ignoring me. You might even feel hurt or angry based on this thought. But maybe their phone died, or they were busy doing chores, or they just hadn't seen it. Yet, your assumption created a whole drama in your head that didn't actually exist in reality. It's like our minds are making a movie, but they only have half the script. When we let assumptions rule, we stop listening, we stop asking, we forget to be curious about the real story. Instead of connecting, we build imaginary problems. So, what if we chose to be curious instead of certain? What if, when a thought about someone pops up, we pause and wonder, is this truly real, or just a guess my mind made up? This simple pause, this small moment of wonder, can open up so much space for understanding and real connection. It helps us see people for who they really are, not just who we assume them to be. Not prioritizing your connection daily. Have you ever noticed how a plant, even a strong one, starts to droop if you forget to water it, just for a few days? It doesn't die right away, but you can see the life dimming. Relationships work a lot like that. One big mistake people make in love and marriage is not making their connection a daily priority. Here's the thing, we're wired for connection. Think about it. From the earliest times, people lived in groups. They depended on each other, not just for safety, but for sharing stories, for laughing, for feeling understood. This deep need to be truly seen and heard by another person hasn't changed. It's an old human truth. Even wise thinkers from long ago talked about how important real friendship was for a good life. So, What happens when you don't put daily effort into your relationship? It's like having a small, warm fire. If you keep adding a log or two every day, it stays bright and comforting. But if you just walk away and let it burn down, it doesn't stay the same. The embers cool, the warmth fades. All you eventually have is cold ash. It's not about one huge argument or one big betrayal. It's the quiet forgetting, the not asking, the not listening, the assuming. This isn't about grand romantic gestures every day. It's about the small, gentle moments. A shared glance, really listening to someone's day. A quiet touch, saying I'm here. These tiny moments, like drops of water for the plant or small logs for the fire, are what keep a connection alive and growing. When we forget these daily acts of care, we slowly lose the very thing we value. It's a lesson that shows us how much the small, steady acts of love truly matter. Getting lost in the hustle and bustle, have you ever felt like there just aren't enough hours in the day? Like you're constantly rushing from one thing to the next, and time simply melts away. Here's the thing, sometimes we get so caught up in the busy rhythm of life, school, homework, sports, friends, social media, part-time jobs, that we forget about the quiet, deeper things that truly matter, especially in our closest relationships. This is one of the biggest mistakes people make in love and marriage, letting the everyday hustle and bustle steal away their connection. It's not on purpose usually, it's a slow fade. One day, you're laughing and talking easily, and the next, you're both just tired, scrolling on your phones, barely speaking. It's a mistake that human beings have stumbled into for a long time, but our world today, with all its speed and demands, seems to make it even easier. We have so many distractions, so many things pulling at our attention, that the simple act of being truly present with another person can feel like a luxury. Think of it like this. Imagine a beautiful houseplant. When you first get it, you water it, give it sunlight, maybe even talk to it. It grows. Its leaves are bright green. But what happens if you get busy and forget about it for weeks? You might mean to water it, but you just never quite get around to it. Soon, its leaves droop, turn yellow, and it stops growing. Love is a bit like that plant. It needs constant care, attention, and effort to thrive. It needs time, not just shared space, but shared attention. When we lose ourselves in the busy noise of life, we often stop watering that plant. We stop looking our loved ones in the eye, listening to their day, or even just sitting quietly together. The connection starts to wither, not because the love isn't there, but because it's not being fed. So, the quiet wisdom here is to remember that love is not just a feeling, it's an action. A daily choice to make space, to slow down, and to truly see the person standing next to you. It's about protecting those moments that nourish the soul of a relationship. Thinking love just happens, without effort. Have you ever pictured love like a sudden spark? Like a bolt of lightning that just strikes, and suddenly, two people are meant to be, forever happy, with no effort needed. It's a beautiful thought, isn't it? The idea that love is just this magical, effortless thing that simply appears in your life, like finding a forgotten treasure. We see it in movies, in old fairy tales, where a prince and princess meet, fall in love instantly, and then live happily ever after, without showing us any of the hard work that goes into, well, after. But here's the thing, that picture, while pretty, misses a big piece of the puzzle. For a long, long time, people believed in destiny when it came to love. They thought some grand plan chose who you'd be with. And yes, there's something comforting about that idea. The thought of a soulmate who just clicks perfectly into your life, no fuss, no struggles. But real love, the kind that lasts and deepens, isn't just about finding someone. It's about building something with them, day after day, year after year. Think about a garden. A beautiful garden isn't just born overnight. You don't just sprinkle seeds and expect vibrant flowers and strong trees to appear without a second thought. No. A garden needs careful tending. It needs water, sunlight, and sometimes you have to pull out weeds that try to choke the life out of the good plants. You might need to add rich soil or prune branches so the plant can grow stronger. Love is a lot like that garden. It needs constant care, patience, and effort to truly blossom. It's not about forcing anything, but about choosing to water, to nurture, to understand, even when it's not easy. It's about being present and paying attention. The deepest kind of love isn't magic that just happens to you. It's a quiet, steady magic that you create together every single day. with gentle hands and an open heart. It grows stronger, richer, and more beautiful, precisely because of the care you give it, and that's what truly makes it last.